radio, you can watch it on TV. Well, that's okay if it's what you want, but it's not alright by me. I wanna be there, I wanna feel, I wanna taste it, touch it, know that the game's for real. That's what it's all about. 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 That's what footy's all about. That's what footy's all about.
Hello everyone, welcome to Victoria Park, Collingwood on this, the last Sunday of October 1994 for the 1994 VFA VicSafe Grand Final between Sandringham and Box Hill. It's an historic day in the history of Australia's original football competition. After 117 years, you may or may not be aware of the changes that will be taking place next year, in which the VFA may not even keep its name. So this could be the last game of association football, and it could be a case of first and last for Box Hill. Here are the Mustangs running out onto Victoria Park for their first ever First Division Grand Final. They won 2 flags in Second Division back in 1984 and 86, but this is a big day for them. Anthony Allen leading out Sandringham. He started on the bench when they won their last premiership in 1992. That was the 4th for the Zebras in the VFA. They won in 46, 62, 85 and 92. Here they are in 1994, and they will start favourites against Box Hill with 11 players from that 1992 premiership side in this 20 for 1994. With me in commentary, as always, Philip Cleary and Sam Kekovich, and, well, I don't need to pump these guys up on Grand Final day.
Yes, Peter, I must say I love Grand Final, VFA Grand Finals. I think I've seen the last 20 of them. I had a daughter born on Grand Final Day in 1981. I managed to get and see some of that game too. It was a great game as well.
Got your priorities right, Philip.
Yes, I did indeed. It was a new age sensitivism then, as I think I said in the Sunday Age this morning. But yes, I think we're in for a great game of football, Peter. I know that Sam's going to talk about the Stangers in a minute. He's hot to trot on the Stangers, but I think they're really a chance. There's no doubt. I was just looking through the list of them. I can't split them, though. I just can't go all the way and pick them, Sam. I've got to go with Sandringham. I can't even put it down as a logical position, actually. I just sense maybe having the break might just be enough for them. When I look at the Mustangs, you know, if they win, I won't be surprised. Now, that's sitting on the fence, I know.
Well, Box Hill have won 9 of their last 11. Those 2 losses were to Sandringham by 7 goals, and then in the second semi-final by 1 goal.
Yes, well,
John Murphy says that means they're going to win by 5 today.
Well, they're being good. Go on, Sammy.
Well, yes, he may well be right, but I think more importantly, it's a fitting climax for the VFA to showcase their 94 season with the 2 in-form sides, highly skilled combatants, and I'm sure the product you're going to see on the field is going to be one of the truly great grand finals. I know it sounds very much a cliche, but it will be a fact. There's no doubt about that. I'm basing my assumption purely, once again, not on a great deal of logic, but I just believe on the score of preparation. They've played 3 hard finals here. Sandringham, of course, with the seeded draw, a relatively easy lead-in. I don't think Box Hill lost any supporters in that second semi-final. They lost by a goal. I thought they had their opportunities on that occasion. And I just believe that they're more pro to stop the forward thrust, given that the midfield battles will be relatively even. I do believe that the defence is capable of shutting down Sandringham as opposed to the Sandringham defence shutting down the more potent Box Hill forward line.
I might get Phil's thoughts on the lineups and how they might match up a little bit later on, but they're just about ready for the playing of the national anthem. Both teams in line, Box Hill and Sandringham.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you please rise for the national anthem?
All right.
can tell you a good number of the people here were singing Advance Australia Fair, and I've noticed that over the last year or two. People do know the words now, and some of the players as well. Sandringham, this is how they will line up. The 24 today, and Peter Sikaski, premiership fullback, hasn't played since round 13 when he injured his right leg, comes in at the expense of Lachlan Callaway, whose Achilles injury that has troubled him for the second half of the year couldn't come up for the grand final. Bad luck for him. But Sikaski named on a half-back flank. Nick Murray, the regular fullback. 11 players, as I said, from the 92 premiership side. And two of those, Darren Mitchelson and Pat Lambert, have played every game this season for the Zebras. For the Mustangs, Peter Burke. A miraculous, we've said it a few times in this final series, recovery from knee injury for him. That was after the qualifying final. He comes in for Michael Kennedy. Both teams have used 36 players this year. 7 players in that side have played every game for Box Hill. Here's the game's record holder in VFA football. 302 matches for Billy Swan, dual winner of the Liston Trophy. He tosses the coin. And Sandringham have won the toss. Anthony Allen will kick to the Dites Falls ends in this first quarter. David Banfield, his opposite number. There he is, number 39 in game 101 today for him. And he's getting in the middle there to talk to his troops, as has become the norm now, these little huddles before the game. The coach does it in the rooms. The captain talks to the players before the start of the game.
Just reinforcing the instruction, no doubt, and that's a good ploy too. And Banfield has been very, very good. But certainly highlights are plenty in this encounter. By gee, matchups are going to be critical, and no more than that centre bounce duel between Crow and them. Very much in form, Mark Lyles.
Certainly Murray on Wilkinson, Sam. That is going to be a really important.
The other end of the ground.
Yes, critical.
Just before we look at those matchups, just running through the 2 results so far today. And Sandringham, they got first blood against Williamstown, winning the premiership in the under-19 competition, and they were in charge for most of the day, certainly after half-time. So congratulations to the Sandy under-19s under their coach in Ian Crowley. And in the reserves, the last moments of the Sandringham Port Melbourne Grand Final, and what a form reversal from the second semi when Port annihilated Sandy. Sandy won by 100 points to get into the Grand Final last week, and they continued with the business today. They took over in the second quarter, keeping Port Melbourne goalless, and they went on to record a 33-point win under their coach Colin Carter. So 2 out of 2 so far for Sandringham. Ross Booth on the boundary line. I don't think he managed to get into the Sandy rooms, but he did get into the Mustangs camp. Ross, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon, Peter, and everybody. A bit of a breeze blowing to the left of screen, about a 2-goal breeze. John Murphy, all the supporters in the room, very relaxed. Peter Burke, his left leg, left knee, heavily strapped. And Robin Daly, I noticed during the national anthem, might have got his contact a bit loose, or either got liniment in his eye, but he was in a bit of trouble. But Sandy had James Hurd in their rooms, so it's all ready for a great game here at Victoria Park. The 94 Grand Final, the umpires Jeff Caulfield and Kieran Nichols.
Well, I can tell you already, it's pretty predictable, the respective matchups, especially in the forward line. Banfield on Gorozides. You got O'Neill on Tarpian at the other end.
And in the ruck, Crow against Mark Lyle, perhaps playing his last game of football today, the 32-year-old. Here's the senior man out there on the ground. And the 2 ruckmen get a chance to do it all over again after a little bit of early show of strength. The bounce favours no one, really. Daly runs into his own man. And, well, the free kick's gone the way of Cohen. Livingston, 27 years of age during the week. Oh, the ball ends up with Wilkinson. He hasn't been able to hook it back enough to score, but does stay in play. So a throw in deep in Box Hill's forward pocket.
Yeah, Nick Murray's picked up Wilkinson. Sikaski on Daly.
And Quinn there trying to keep him out of the action was Allen on the corner of screen. And there's Allen. Certainly excited to be starting in the grand final today. Anthony Allen taking the big deeper breath.
Plays a critical role in that defence too as a sweeper.
And look at, he's trying to keep Quinn out of the packs where he has been dynamite during the final series. Truella knocks the ball forward. Daly can't keep it in play, so another throw in.
Plays a comparable role to the to David Swan's role, the opposite at the other end of the ground for Box Hill. And there's Quinn, a real live-wire terrier.
He's become a cult figure. You listen to the crowd chant Quinny every time he gets near the footy. Sikorsky on Daly, and Peter Sikorsky. He certainly will have a few butterflies in the tummy. Very experienced player. It might be his farewell performance here today as well, but not having played since round 13. Question mark on him. And of course Peter Burke, number 41, who is behind this pack. Truella out of the air. Just got it away in time. Now Clarkson, who was very good in the second semi-final, and Cameron Crowley, you see him grabbing the ball on the bench there with the knee brace for Box Hill. He let Clarkson know all about that. Crowley, cruel luck for him, being one of their good forward players, missing the game, has had a knee injury and operated on last Friday. And the ruckman's seeing a lot of early action from these throw-ins.
Yeah, they're both going to play a prominent role. But I was just looking at Sikorsky. Daly's height and marking power is certainly going to worry Sikorsky, who hasn't had a great deal of football.
That's the big test, really, Sam. But he's a
consummate defender, isn't he? My word.
Up goes Truella, 11, down to Clarkson. Half back. Inboard, missed Foley. Maloney, nice little sidestep. Looks up. Took it back because there was no one on offer. This is Lambert from half back. Up comes McCrabb. Waiting down was O'Neill. He split the pack, McCrabb, to Cohen and Livingston, who was the Liston favourite. It was won by Corey Young. Spears in a pass. Crow, he was a runner-up in the Liston. Over the top with a tackle, and it's pretty rugged. There's a tackle by McGeorge on Quinn.
Yes, there's no doubt about that free kick, and Quinn was very, very clever there. He saw danger was threatening and played it nicely.
Not a lot of movement for Andrew Quinn. This will give us an idea of the breeze. It's not quite long enough, and there's the mark for Justin Crow, who's been a revelation this season.
And one of the players of the finals, Peter. He's just getting better and better.
Oh, dangerous kick, but it comes off okay. Pat Lambert. McGeorge. Sandy haven't been over the wing yet, and Wayne Rowe knocks the ball over the boundary line. He's one of those 7 players I talked about who've played every game, 21 of them for Box Hill. But there are the Zebra supporters. Been hard at work on the printing presses. Now Maloney for the Zebras. First forward attack for the premiership favourites. Heaney knocks the ball a bit further into the Zebras' attacking zone. Phil Crothers takes it over the boundary line. Now, he was named on interchange, so he started. Crothers, Austin McCrabb, his man.
Andrew Tarpey, Besterfield in the second semi. But Cedar forward doing the ruck work against Lyle. Cohen grabs it. Hand passes out to Swan. Swan wide, close to the line. Up goes Daly. Seem to see that one all right.
That's where he's going to worry Sikorsky. Very strong overhead, Daly. He's worried all the opponents throughout the final series.
Warwick Angus in the crowd. Injured at the moment. Taking part in neither this side nor the reserves premiership side. Up goes Tarpey. Tries to find Mitchelson. Was quick. Effective hand pass to Herman. Gorazidis. Banfield gets back. Might carry the pack. First score for the Zebras.
Yes, you've got to be very careful with Allen. He really does cover a lot of ground. He's always setting himself up as an option. The rest is fairly predictable. I see, as was the case in the second semi-final, Swan has Amiot.
Troy Heaney's kick into Lyle. He's been holding his marks all season, and in the finals he's been superb. The 32-year-old Mark Lyle sets up Evans, couldn't bring the mark down. And there's going to be a bounce just forward of the centre for Sandringham.
Just the settling in period, the initial 5-10 minutes, Phil, isn't it? Players just getting rid of a few butterflies, and it's critical to see which side settles down first, because it's terribly important.
Taken by Tarpey, who manages to keep hold of it. Andrew Tarpey had to go off in the second quarter of the 1992 Grand Final against Williamstown with a collarbone injury.
Not wearing the head guard today, Peter.
No. But in that particular year, he's probably the most single player that was instrumental in getting Sandringham there, even though his performance in the grand final didn't have a great deal of impact.
And he came from this ground at Victoria Park, Collingwood, to Sandringham in Trevor Barker's first year. Now there's good player this year, Greg. Kicks a bit long, McMaster. Sikorsky telling him to go straight down the middle. Mitchelson leaves it. Here he is running back onto it. Ooh. Livingston and he collide. Livingston tries to get the ball out. Maloney throws himself in. That was a throw from Garrett. Mitchelson got it forward. O'Neill. Been a tremendous player, especially in the finals. Rowe to Zarafa. Bounced pretty nicely for Evans. Disney, fine pickup. Livingston. Comes out to Crow. Burke couldn't hold him. Disney.
Oh, it's physical, Peter.
No one can hold the ball for any period of time, and Sikorsky just clears the lines.
That's good football, really tight football. That's the sort of stuff at AFL level they all crow about, isn't it, Sammy?
Yeah, terrific stuff. And of course, Foley's a very, very important part of the Sandringham engine, and of course his job, I think Cohen's picking him up, Phil.
Crow goes down. The Zebras come out with it. Up to Garrett. Went through his hands. Swan a push on Amiot, who had the front position. A bit of a soft one.
Smart play, Ross. He tried to tap it over the back.
Amiot long, looking for Gorozides. Banfield in front. And it was there, but it was a little bit stiff, maybe.
Gee, the umpires are right in there, though, Ross. Hardly putting a foot wrong so far. Very good umpiring. That was there.
Kieran Nichols umpired the second semi. The Mustangs felt they were hardly done by. Lyle in front, good mark.
Well, I certainly hope that the three that were officiating down the road yesterday watching this.
Sam had nothing to do with the outcome, as Lyle kicks it over the centre, and the mark taken by Allen, or is there a push against him?
They spotted that, definitely there.
Well, they're right up with the play, which is excellent, and they've got a good perspective, that angular perspective.
Quinn already starting to worry Sandringham, and here he is on the end of a pass. Quinney's kick into the pocket, not a good one. McMaster again. Good recovery. Foley. His thigh injury seems to have recovered fully. Now, Justin Crow. Spearing the ball to the wing, Mitchelson. Zarafa. Pats the ball out to Greg. Back to Zarafa. Laurie Zarafa had the flu the last time the teams met. Just got out of bed in time for the game. His form looked to improve a bit last week. There's a free kick here. It's against Truella.
Yeah, good decision. He did put his hand on his back, the big man, and doing very well.
Brett Bailey and Adrian McKenzie on the bench for the Zebras. Almost giving away. But it comes to Crothers. Fists it forward. Loose ball on centre wing. Paced by Disney. Chased by Clarkson. He's not slow. But Disney's done it pretty well. McCrabb a bit slow, but got a tag. A smother on. That was good. And now Nick Murray. Clears to the safety of centre wing.
I tell you what, Sam, they are playing on adrenaline at the moment because there isn't a player who's settled down yet. They just can't find a pathway. The players are just trying to set something up, and at the last minute, something goes wrong.
10 minutes in, nearly, no goals as yet. In the 94 Grand Final. Maloney left it behind. Allen, this captain, through with strength. Inspirational play. The kick, not so good, intercepted by Bruce Cohen.
This back line of Box Hill has been the trump card all season, standing up to it well early. Cohen getting it to Swan.
Oh, there's a chance.
Here's a chance for Wilkinson. That was Truella over the top. Sikorsky underneath it all.
Oh, surely a mark, wasn't it? No, he didn't bring it down, Ross. Good call.
The last cross-section of the crowd here at Victoria Park.
Yeah, good crowd, Sam.
My word, they'll be on their toes for the duration. I think the winner will be well concealed here, Philip.
Now, Truella, number 11, won 2 free kicks in these situations in the second semi-final, which led to goals. The ball ends up with Maloney for Sandringham. Amiot chasing off after it, but Greg gets there, is claimed in the back by Mitchelson.
Yeah, it was a little bit callous and ridden into the ground.
Greg got it away to Peter Burke for his first possession. A linchpin for Box Hill. Good squaring kick for Wilkinson. Running onto it, Jason Disney. Goal. The first major is the Mustangs. They lead by 5 points.
Yes, the high leaping forward. See, Wilkinson created that opportunity. They're really conscious of his height and his leaping ability. And Disney, who's really had an impact in the opening 10 minutes from his wing, well on top of Clarkson. And the Mustangs first.
Well, what a great build-up too, Sam, and how exciting when Wilkins goes near the ball, and Disney
See
gets
how he
it
splits
under...
that pack?
Yes, Sam, and under pressure, flat punt, beautiful goal. It was coming, I tell you what.
Yeah, they've been threatening for a while.
They look good, the Stangers, very good.
Lyle, but it's grabbed by Clarkson, well smothered by Livingston. Number 2 coming up. Livingston from the 50-metre is wide.
Gee, Johnny, he'd have known he could have taken a bounce, steadied and passed right into him from about 30 metres out.
Had a metre at least too to steady. You're right, Sam, and
certainly some ominous signs from Sandringham's viewpoint, and the fact they've played 3 hard games here, I think it's been an advantage.
Nick Murray. Good kick in. Maloney comes inboard now. Finds Foley.
We've got to keep tabs on this guy. He is the architect.
High one for Tarpey. Forced under the ball by O'Neill. Mitchelson. Heaney got a hand on it. Still ends up with Chris Garrett. He's very dangerous, and he's opened it up for Amiot. Handball over the top. No, the snap offline. Well, Gorazidi should have doubled back onto the goal line there. He came out, and really Amiot had to then snap under incredible pressure.
I would have thought he kicked that though, Peter. He's good close in. He didn't throw it on his left boot with much conviction. Sam, he was very awkward about it.
I thought Banfield did very well immediately. He didn't cogitate at all. He just made a dash for him and put him in that uncertain area and forced the error.
Cohen broke from the huddle. The kick was good from Heaney. Amiot spoiling against Swan. In comes Mitchelson. Dwayne Rowe is there with Brett Rowe on the bench. A high one. Burke. Well, I thought that was held anyway.
That's 50.
No, it's thrown out of his arms, Sammy. You get lynched for giving those.
Yes. But, gee, what a big bonus it will be if this guy can stay on his feet for the entire duration.
His left knee heavily strapped into the pocket. Beats them all. In comes Gregg. Has a good first quarter, Brett Gregg on the wing.
Yeah, he has. Doing the 1%ers very well, Ross. We all know how adept it is and how proficient he is in his disposal and ball-getting ability. But certainly the harassing and the knocking on and the player responsibility when he hasn't got the ball has improved out of sight.
Another possession, not that effective. He was kicking under pressure.
Well, John Murphy would be absolutely ecstatic with their opening. You know, they've really closed Sandringham down. And I think Sandringham Brains Trust will start having a few worries.
Pat Lambert switching play to Murray. Alan led short. Dribbling kick. Loose one for Disney. He kicked the first goal. Feeds it off. Livingston quick and good to Quinn. Peter Burke back onto the left foot. Now the right. Ooh. Cross the face out of bounds, I fear. John Summers says yes.
It was lightning movement there, wasn't there? Plenty of pressure.
He does like to kick on that right foot,
yes.
but maybe there was a chance there.
For a left
he'd been
foot.
fully fit, he might have kicked on his left. Lyle, well, hit him in the face. Rowe, good pressure from Maloney. Mitchelson over the ball. Maloney follows up. Coming the other way with strength was Livingston. Good
Been
play.
terrific.
Here comes Wilkinson with Murray. Oh, Wilkinson almost brought it down. In goes Murray. McGeorge fighting with a teammate in Johnston to lock it in.
Deceptive, isn't he, Wilkinson? Seemingly out of position, but he's got those long arms. And from a seemingly impossible position can really hover and just haul them in.
David McGeorge takes his position. Truella leaps high. Under pressure. McMaster heads for the line. And Lambert takes it over.
When in the preview, I said I gave Box Hill an undeniable chance. In fact, I went for them. On the basis that their potent forward line, it's so multi-optional. You've got Truella up there, you've got Wilkinson we speak of, you've got Daly, and of course you've got Raffle that complements the talls very effectively at ground level.
Crow knocks it down. Foley's caught well by Daly. Here's Peter Burke.
Yes.
Wilkinson mark. Kept Murray out of that with that backside, and Peter Burke already giving them some impetus around the backs.
Sam, you're mentioning Murphy would be happy, not just about the fact they've got the goal and probably the second, but the way they are doing it. They've got Sandy under immense pressure all over the ground. And this bloke, he's looming as a big danger even early in the game.
Wilkinson gets his first.
By contrast, at the other end, Peter, Sandringham has struggled across half forward. Tarpey, they've been able to run the ball away from him. We'll see it here. Crow gets the knockdown. Foley gets caught under pressure. The umpire lets it go. Peter Burke swings it around, puts it in the right spot, right in front of the goals. And the body use there of Wilkinson on Murray, who's a fine player.
Because they're doing the hard things well, Phil, the half opportunities, the spilt ball are being seized upon and they're capitalising on it.
More from the midfield of Box Hill. Burke, Greg, Livingston. Sandy yet to get moving. Foley, Mitchelson, Herman, Zarafa, Clarkson in his way. Lyle. They're bouncing a hand on it by Evans. Danger. Lambert. Right there is Burke again. Zakaski. In comes McGeorge. No easy kicks at all. Cohen over the ball, and there'll be a ball up.
And that's terrific umpiring too. Umpires won't be conned. There's a propensity at times, players to try to test them out, take a dive. Certainly won't have a bar of it, the umpires. Terrific stuff.
11 points the lead for the Mustangs. Here they are again with Brett Gregg. Popping it up for Wilkinson. Murray caught by Quinn. McGeorge to Allen. Good quick hands from the Zebras. Clarkson. Garrett forced underneath the ball by Heaney. Now Garrett to get the ball off Heaney. McCrabb's got 2 to beat here and runs out of room.
Yeah, good play by O'Neill too, Jerry O'Neill. He left Harpy and lent support because he was in the premier position. McCrabb and frustrated him and forced the ball over the line and gave him a chance to regroup.
Now Tarpey doing the ruck work on the forward line against Lyle. Throw in favoured Tarpey. It's touched off the boot by Crothers. Tarpey's fist. O'Neill goes backwards. Cohen's there. He'll run it out if he can. Well tackled. Hand off from Maloney to Garrett. Gorozides made great ground and showed bravery, but it's out on the full. Banfield on Gorozides, who kicked 5 goals 2 years ago in the grand final from a pocket. Banfield hoists it high. Foley's spoil. Amiot couldn't take it with him. Foley has his kick smothered by Swan. Throwing about 60 metres around from the Sandringham goal. They haven't kicked a goal yet. They trail by 11 points, 18.5 minutes into the first quarter.
Inspiring passages of play. All those smothers and team-orientated things doing superbly, Box Hill. That's what wins finals.
You see the urgency with Tarpey's play at centre-half forward now. He's been involved in the last couple of incidents. He realises that they're under pressure. They must get a score, a goal that is.
He uses the body again, Tarpey, against Lyle.
Well, he's tried to take it out of the ruck twice now because there's just that tension about the side. He's an experienced campaigner, number 7. He's got a sense of how this game's going.
19 minutes in, first quarter. Tarpey wins it. Crothers kicks it back to the wing. In the way, Pat Lambert.
He's very good defender.
Had a lot of the ball. Out to Crow. Crow out in front of Gorozides. Banfield right with him. And Banfield wins. Beautiful play from the fullback. Truella is in front. Lumbers towards it. McMaster. Burke in support. A lucky bounce from McGeorge. He brushes aside the tackle cleverly and kicks towards Gorozides. Why up from full forward, almost centre wing. What to do? Thought about giving it to Clarkson. The kick, well, it was touchy, but it found Johnston.
Good play by Banfield, stopping and ensuring that Gorozides doesn't get around him.
And look at Lyle down in the back half, holding them up. The viewers can't see it, but he's really putting a body down there that they can't kick over.
The only option was to go to Clarkson. Tarpey's in front. Banfield stops his run. McCrabb had it fall into his lap. Amiot's handball out to Garrett. Chris Garrett's handball to George Gorozides. He's in enough space, but the smother from Rowe. Amiot will have to play on. And there's Banfield on the line. Cohen. Nice kick from Banfield.
He's the linchpin of a very resolute defence, is David Banfield. A very frugal, but very attacking and very skilled.
Dwayne Rowe doing well early. Kick out for Truella. Spoilt by McMaster. Disney overrunning it. Oh, fine kick out from Burke.
Look at him go.
Oh, could he snag this one?
The old back kick, Peter.
He looked across to the face and I thought it was a square coming up. And he's put it through for a behind.
Makes memories of that goal of the year.
Out at Box Hill. He wanted to square it, but he just couldn't see anyone, I think. And then the second thought was back kick.
It was good news from Box Hill's point of view to see him accelerate in the manner in which he has.
He hit the ball at
My
pace.
word, which indicates that he may have fully recovered from that knee injury.
Ooh, strong work from Allen with a side bump against Brett Gregg. He felt that, the captain. So Sandringham yet to kick a goal. They trail by 12 points, nearly 22 minutes in. First quarter, McJohnston. Over the ball is Crow. Livingston brought down. Gregg. Ball. Quinn is caught, and what will the umpire say? I'll ball it up.
Yeah, I'd have played that holding the ball, Sam. He knew he was going to be tackled. He's got a prior opportunity. He must get rid of the ball.
Doing very well in the clinches, though, Box Hill. Holding it up, making every issue a contest. Just frustrating, and Sandringham at the moment must be wondering, what do we have to do to get on the board? They've got no cohesion. They've got no system in their makeup.
Crow gains them 30 metres. Left behind by Cohen. But Disney's there to back up. Zarafa.
Oh, well-weighted kick.
Here's the great white shark. Wayne Rowe. Wilkinson. Can't hold it. And McMaster just clears. All the pressure on the Zebras at the moment. Tremendous play. Knocked back in by Herman to Maloney. He's been conspicuous for the Zebras. The kick's not good, though.
Well, pressure works in many and varied ways, and I guess that is an example of it. You know, a poorly directed kick.
He could have taken another step, Sam, and steadied, you know, and put
but
it
that uncertainty that Box Hill have forced them into.
There's the sense of urgency because they know they must get a goal.
Look at the expression on Tarpey's face.
Against Mark Lyle is Tarpey. Lyle won it beautifully. Heaney, Cohen, and Tarpey goes in strongly.
And, you know, also, Ross, where they're being found out to the likes of Garrett, I think, playing stationary on a forward line, whereas Box Hill very mobile, they're small players, Sam.
Lyle again. Heaney. To half forward. Back goes Daly. With Zakaski.
That's a ripper of a contest, that one.
Oh, yeah, my word.
Just how it unfolds, Sam.
Yes. The one thing about Daly, you know, he only needs to fleet into a game for 5 or 10 minutes, capable of kicking 3 or 4 goals. Chime in for a couple of minutes. It's a match winner.
2 goals the difference. Box Hill lead. 24 minutes gone in the grand final of 94. Squirts out of McGeorge's hands for a throw-in. About 70 metres around from Box Hill's goal.
I think they've weathered the storm for a moment.
Well, it's one thing to get in front of Sandringham, it's another to stay there.
Oh, there's a lot of
They've only been
left.
beaten twice this season, Sandringham, and they have won 10 games in a row coming into this grand final.
Yes, but if you hold them to nothing in terms of goals in the first quarter, you've got to go in with a big chance.
Could have been 5 or 6 the way the Mustangs are playing. Crow, Maloney. That's definitely aerial ping pong. Foley's underneath that pack.
Well, tremendous tackling and tremendous discipline by Box Hill. And I must confess, during the course of the week, I did promulgate the fact that Box Hill could cause an upset. Obviously, in some pockets, it's not perceived as an upset if Box Hill win, but I'll tell you it is, because Sandringham did start warm favourites, and chiefly on the score of preparation. I believe 3 hard games at Victoria Park is a decided asset.
Foley again underneath the pack, and he couldn't get clear from Cohen. He's the VFA Junior Footballer of the Year, Bruce Cohen. 16. Not 16 years of age, but wearing 16.
It's 20 years of age. Rose, kick marked by Allen.
He's playing beautiful football, Anthony Allen.
Yeah, he's giving Quinn something to think about. O'Neill floated out of his range, but Heaney was there for the chest mark. Tractor goes into Livingston. Back from Richmond this year, having drafted 2 seasons ago. Floating it. And there's a free kick. O'Neill's come down from the back line there, but there might even be a report, is there?
Daly's free.
Daly's free. He was tampered with behind play.
That's Mitchelson, who went down heavily.
His run at the ball was impeded, there's no doubt. I had my eyes on
it
it.
was an accidental trip or something like that, Sam, but definitely...
It was there, Ross. You've got to pay them.
Especially when you got your money on Box Hill.
No, I have not had a fiscal interest at all, Roscoe. Just that my mum and dad reside in Box Hill, and my mother is an avid Box Hill fan, as to her all workmates at Disco Sauce.
Robin Daly has them up, clapping. He's kicked his 36th goal of the season. Hasn't missed a game this year, Robin Daly. And all the goals in this quarter have belonged to Box Hill. And they now lead by 3.
Ross, you're making the point that they should have kicked more goals. And what I was really trying to get at with their first quarter is to hold Sandringham the way they have will give them the confidence. You know, they haven't beaten Sandringham all season. There's always an element of doubt if you haven't beaten the side, but when you get to quarter time, say leading by 3 or 4, you've kept them goalless, as we see there, 2 points at 3-2. It's a good sign.
But they would have gleaned a psychological plus from the second semi-final, getting within a goal, and probably the opposite should have won.
Johnston, he was laying advantage to Chris Garrett. Looks for Amiot, it's wide of him. Gorazidis to back up, didn't really take possession. Paddled out, well, was it thrown by Banfield? Herman's still got it. Crothers, it's not out yet, and he's been held.
Lucky. Clever play. He dropped the ball on the blind side of the umpire and then appealed for
Proving the angle, but there's a short onto Maloney.
It's lucky not to incur a 50 there.
You notice the umpire quickly called it as pushed, Sam. Not mark.
Now Maloney is...
Because if it was a push after the mark, it was 50 metres.
Exactly right, Phil.
Maloney is known for his beautiful kicking, Steve Maloney.
And South Launceston, I think Roston had a stint at Paran and now finds his way at Sandringham.
The Zebras do need their first goal for a psychological lift. Maloney, high, just wide, didn't quite get the distance in the end. So Sandringham finished the first quarter goalless.
And 18 points down to Box Hill in their first VFA Grand Final. The skipper, David Banfield, and his backline did a superb job. And their goal kickers at quarter time are Darren Wilkinson, Jason Disney and Robin Daly. No Sandringham player has troubled the scoreboard on the major side, just 2 behinds for the premiership favourites. They finished 3 games clear of Box Hill on top of the ladder. So the honours in the first term here at Victoria Park to Box Hill. You're watching the VFA Grand Final live on ABC Sport.
Change, Neville. You're on with Samantha.
Trouble is, he was expecting Sam.
Oh, you love it.
A little phased maybe, but the show must go on.
He's one, and so are we, on a cross-dressing sex change spree.
Special guest Peter Carroll makes it a night to remember for 3 men and a baby grand, 9:30 Monday. He kicked his way to the top, but he wanted to go one better. Back home, Craig Johnston set out to design the perfect boot. Starting from scratch, and after much trial and error, he was ready to put it to the test.
It was just such a beautiful smack and a thud. You could hear the sound of it.
Endorsed by the world body, it could revolutionize the game of soccer. Craig's Boot, a quantum special, 8 o'clock Wednesday.
That's the situation at quarter time. Box Hill had just about all the play. 3 goals. Well, I think it probably is a fair representation because they were going against a slight breeze in that first term. Not a lot of advantage to either end, but Daly, Disney and Wilkinson, their goal kickers. Trevor Barker in his 3rd year at Sandringham and his last, talking to his team at quarter time.
Force the ball forward. Yeah, the forwards, they're delivering the 4 lines. We're terrible, but we're behind. We're not with our players. We're behind, not in front. We're second to the ball, as I said. Yeah? If I do the stats in the 4 line, I think we've had about 3 kicks amongst the whole 6 of you. Rose picked up 8 or 9 possessions on the ball. Hermie, Steve, you have to be aware of him. Steve, are you? Yeah. Okay. You know, we just got to make more of the ball. When we got it, we panicked. They put us under a bit of pressure. Our kicking was ordered into position. We just got to concentrate a bit more.
Now we're going into the Box Hill huddle, and this is Darren Wilkinson having some work done on his right ankle. Their leading goal kicker this season with 73 goals, 2nd in the competition behind Reno Preto in his final year of football. One would think for the Dandenong Red Legs, finishing the VFA's top goal kicker again, and 2nd on the all-time list with 87. But, don't worry about Wilkinson perhaps John Murphy's only worry at quarter time. Murphy taking plenty of time to gather his thoughts.
And you'd be putting the gilt-edge tape on Wilkinson, wouldn't you, Sam? You wouldn't be sparing any. You want him up and fit.
Terribly important. He'll afford to lose a player of his ilk. Let's see what John Murphy's saying.
Where you are on the ground, just don't get sucked in. Wandering away from the boat. Know where he is.
Time.
Trevor Barker, a bit easier to hear.
More on the forward line. Austin, I want you in the square as much as possible. I don't want you running too far out. Georgie, you and Steve. Now, Steve Swan ran a few times again. Now, just get back. Make sure when the ball turns over, you know where he is. Okay, the first kick out worked out okay. The Crow couldn't punch away from Lowell. The second one, the bloke chipped in short there. They went in short, so be aware they're not going to always go to the side. They might go in short. All right. Now, you have to work hard. Come on. All that fanfare, all the shit before the game, all the talk about, oh, we're going to do it, we're going to do it. Now it comes down to blood and guts now, fellas. How much you really want to peg this back. 3 up on us, and we're kicking into a slight breeze. So, let's go. We can do it.
Well, Barker says they're kicking into a slight breeze in this quarter. That windsock maybe is a little bit...
Oh, he doesn't lie, Peter.
You don't think so? No, well...
We've laid claim to that, but certainly Ross...
Well, that's right. No, sorry. That's exactly right. I've got myself confused there. That Dites Fall then would appear to be the scoring end, but John Murphy said that if they couldn't shut down Mitchelson on the wing and Clarkson, that they wouldn't win this game. And certainly those two players haven't had the effect so far as they did in the second semi-final. That's Disney opening the goal-scoring account for Box Hill.
Well, Disney and Greg have been terrific in midfield, and who would have forecast, Philip, that when you look at the wonderful array and talent that Sandringham have on display, it would be held scoreless, kicking with the breeze in the first quarter of a grand final.
Yes, but it's that forward line worries me a little bit. There's Wilkinson after that kick from Burt. Gorazidis.
Well, what worries you about their forward line?
Well, their lack of pace, Sam. Garrett is playing as a stationary forward pocket, and he's only small, you know. Usually that's the sort of thing you did with players 30 years ago. You know, now the game's so quick. Players who aren't mobile across your forward line, they get run off. The likes of Heaney will run off them. Gorazidis doesn't put any defensive work into his game.
Daly
coming in. By contrast, that's a great by contrast with the Mustangs, they're very good on the defensive side.
What about the stats?
Yes, well, Box Hill ahead on the kicks, close on the handballs. Well, that'll probably tell the story. It's just enough, and they use the ball so well.
Ross Booth, what did you glean at quarter time?
Well, John Murphy, you heard some of him, and from Trevor Barker. Was more interesting talking to Johnny Moncrief coming off. He said it was a midfield where Sandy were getting done, and Robin Daly, the problem was a loose contact lens, but he's okay now. Rod McIntyre's got a presentation for us from the Sandy Footy Club.
Yeah, very quickly, that's from all the supporters to thank yourself and the ABC footy team. A little certificate of appreciation, plus a bit of the Sandringham history for the great job you've done covering the VFA footy. Thanks very much.
Thanks very much to the Sandy Footy Club. A bit of appreciation of all our efforts. Thanks a lot.
A very nice gesture.
We appreciate that too. Sandringham get the first positive possession in the second quarter. But here's Dwayne Rowe. As you heard Trevor Barker say, he got 9 possessions in that first quarter.
It's all very well, Peter, to say the midfield. Everyone always says, oh, the midfield struggling, but they've had the ball on their forward line, Sandringham, and they've muffed it. And even then, the ball went forward, and they were behind Sam.
Yeah, and Trevor Barker alluded to that very point, Phil, the fact that they're behind.
Tarpey knocks on. Herman's got 2 to beat, though. And O'Neill knocks it over the boundary line right in front of the Box Hill bench. Jared O'Neill, superb season for him.
He has been, look, I said Mark Lyle's a part of the finals. This guy's certainly not far behind him. A very attacking centre-half back.
Tarpey knocks into the pocket, and there's no room at all for Amiot to move in. Amiot this season has averaged over 4 goals a game. He's kicked 55 goals in 12 matches. And he's been worn like a second skin today. Here's Foley getting clear. Pressure on him, but it's still a good centering kick, and Gorazidis has pulled it in. Fine work from Axel Foley.
What a beautiful kick, Peter, under immense pressure to put the ball there, Sam. That's just great play, isn't it?
Yeah, a tremendous pair of hands, this guy. We were critical of him in the second semi-final for dropping some relatively easy chances. He's going to have to optimise every opportunity he gets today against the resolute Banfield, because there'll be few and far between. But certainly when Foley breaks loose, he'll afford to give him any latitude.
There's the Zebras' first of the day for George Gorozides, who's averaged 4.9 goals per game this season. He's started a quarter late here today, as he has his team, but they're now within 2 goals.
Thing, Peter, you mentioned the amount of goals he's kicked in the average, but against the better sides, the average has been well down. You know, he kicked a bulk in one game, 12 goals, I think. There you see him here, take the muck. That's what he's best at, but he's got to work at ground level against a side that runs the ball up. But the goal they needed.
So will that give the Zebras the heart to come back at the Mustangs? How will the Mustangs respond? Beautifully, it would appear. Lyle down to Cohen. Where's Daly? And over there was Wilkinson. Spectacular leap. Was that high by Evans on Allen?
No, good decision. No, I thought the right decision was made. And look at the game being played in good spirit. Tap on the cranium.
14 points. The Mustangs lead. Crow. Truella. Daly over the head. Back there, McMaster, the centre half back. Oh, nicely done. Split the pack. Spots Foley in front and marks.
Good play.
Over Livingston.
Gee, he needed to mark it too. They were in a little bit of trouble there if he hadn't. Look at Lyle holding them up at half back.
He's going wide through the hands of Heaney. Lambert putting on a tackle. But both sides very hard at the ball.
Oh, yeah, I was just thinking the same thing, Ross. Look at him converge on the loose ball.
Brett Rowe stretching in front of Cam Crowley.
Gee, got good extension on those hamstrings. I wish I had those. Gee, I'm envious of that, let me tell you.
Sam's twinging up and down both legs at the moment. There's a good shepherd for Mitchelson, and it came from Crow. Tarpey, his first mark of the day.
Well, he's always shown that he wanted to get involved. Sure, he's game from the outset, desperately looking for work. And that grit and determination, you know, has really held him in good stead on that occasion.
Let's see the kick.
Oh, yeah.
Lead from Amiot. Goes to the second row. And the mark's taken by Crothers.
Gee, they're good in the back half box, Hill. Look,
there goes Swan. Been a superb defender this year. David Swan's kick. Quinn wants a free kick and gets it. Just launched himself. He was outnumbered about 3-1. And I think he might have got a half touch there from Allen, but did a good con job.
Gee, does he waltz into some heavy traffic, this guy? Just doesn't know the meaning of the word fear.
Huge fly from Tuella. Zarafa over the top of it. Got out by Garrett. Lambert. Now it ends up with Clarkson. Some of their kicking not as precise as it should be.
Under a little bit more pressure, and the indiscriminate kicks aren't finding their target, but normally very, very fluent with the disposal.
John Murphy also asked Robin Daly to keep running around Zakaski, that he would tire. Lyle has been supreme in those ruck contests. Clarkson missed with a hand pass. Zarafa with one step. There's Zakaski. Away from Daly. That was quite effective. Foley turned back almost into trouble. Out by Johnston. Tarpey inside 50. Over comes O'Neill with a double-handed spoil.
Beautiful.
Fantastic.
That is just magnificent play, that. And look at the shepherd by Disney.
Keeping away Clarkson. Zarafa gave the ball away to Crow.
Being forced out wide are the Zebras. Crab goes after it again. Taken by Clarkson now after Herman's handball. Gorozides and Banfield. A shepherd for Amiot was Gorozides' idea, but Swan was there.
Gee, there was some good work going on there. It was the jostling there between Gorozides and Banfield, I think it was. It was just magnificent with the ball about 50 metres away.
Great anticipation as we see Frank Rigolo there. Premiership full forward 2 years ago. Premiership in the reserves today for Sandringham at full forward for Frank.
Along with Joey's brother, Liston Trophy winner.
Everyone peering skywards. It's got very dark here at Victoria Park.
Banfield caught. Here's McCrav double-teamed.
Peter, you made a comment about the kicking. I think the fact that Lyle is going so deep into their defence is forcing them wide a lot, and then the kicks are not hitting a player.
And they're slow to get it into attack. Good pressure. Amiot. There was evidence of the pressure. McCrabb to Herman. Cohen charges through.
That's a tough contest, that.
Gee, the umpiring is good though,
Brilliant.
Sam. Umpiring is really first class
I think
today.
Bill
No
Della's
ticky
watching.
touch freeze.
John Murphy also saying at quarter time that he wanted at least 20 what he calls one percenters. They had 22 in the first quarter. The little things, the tough tackles, the smothers, and Foley just couldn't get clear 7 minutes into the second quarter.
Difference is 2 goals in favour of Box Hill. Those spectators in front of the social club seeing a lot of action in this game. Maloney couldn't get clear for a kick, but a lot of Box Hill fans of long standing from back in the Eastern Districts Football League days have been very excited about the build-up this week. One of them, Doug Droscher, who played between 1940 and 47, had a minor heart attack last Sunday night. He's okay though, he's in Freemasons Hospital, I'm sure, watching here today, but not too happy about a free kick going here. And it's Ian Herman within scoring range in the lee of the Sharon stand, so not without a good chance of kicking this goal.
Well, distance certainly won't be the worry, Peter. Accuracy may, 45-degree angle. Certainly a bit breezy out there, but there's the assignment ahead of you, the graphic.
Straight, not long enough. Heaney does the right thing. So Box Hill haven't scored in 8 minutes of football. Sandringham have scored 1 goal, 1.
Zone defence being used. Only one player zone by the looks of it, one on either side.
Herman and Maloney are those two.
Outriders.
And Rowe's clear for a moment. Up he goes. It's Dwayne Rowe. Foley with Spaulding. Ran into O'Neill.
Ooh, that would have hurt.
Hurt him too.
That definitely had to hurt. He was really caught there. That is going to do a lot of damage to Foley. If only he'd seen him, he should have just dipped the shoulder himself.
He's had a history of shoulder problems too, I think, Foley.
Oh, Sammy was just caught there without any protection.
Greg. Heaney did well to spoil against Big Tarpey.
Well, that's high.
On Cohen by Johnston.
Just terrific play by Cohen. He really attacked his...
There's the...
good hip and shoulder by O'Neill.
On Rowe from 70 metres. Centering kick, looking for Wilkinson. In front was Allen. And Crow there to get the crumbs. Wilkinson.
Played.
Zarafa.
Trouble.
Livingston. Back comes Lambert.
Oh, that's a free kick.
Oh. Did very well there, Lambert.
He did well, but I still thought that he did interfere there with Livingston and didn't give him an equal opportunity of going for the ball. And there's Foley.
Had his injury worries in the finals.
Maybe he was just badly
winded. Yes.
Here's Livingston, fine pick up.
Oh,
lovely effort. Wilkinson shepherd's through.
I think it's through.
It is. Great work from Wilkinson, and what a kick from Tim Livingston. He gets his first of the game, and Box Hill answer that second quarter goal from Sandringham.
Yes, and an important goal for that very point, Peter, apart from getting another on the scoreboard. The fact that they've answered that and kept on equal footing will give them great heart. And you're right, Wilkinson did very, very well. They're doing everything correctly, there's no doubt. Technically and principally, John Murphy would be absolutely tickle-pick with his charges, Philip.
The challenge laid down for the Zebras. Maloney. McMaster got away from Greg. Kicks a half forward. Out comes Amiot on the half volley. Paddles it out of the pack, but Heaney's there. He heads for the boundary line.
Well, that's good percentage football.
There's the Box Hill bench.
You feel the tension, the anxiety.
Lyle's been superb. So Rafa did it well to keep it in without kicking it out on the full.
Yeah, very clever.
Boundary umpire John Summers got his head out of the way well there. But Laurie Zarafa, hit by illness halfway through the final series, working himself back into some form. And is there some blood on Justin Crow? So a hold up while he's taken off because of the blood rule.
Oh, that could
That's a
come
blow.
at a worse moment either, Peter.
He's been doing some hard work on the half back line, and Bailey comes on. premiership player.
Tarpey in the ruck.
Crab to centre half forward.
Lyle. O'Neill comes in with a fist. Bailey gets a touch early on. No, he doesn't. He's met beautifully by Brett Gregg. Feist. No, it's not. It's Red Rowe who's come on from interchange. Lyle also has some blood showing there. So the two #1 ruckmen should be off the ground, really. An accidental trip by Tarpey. Brett Gregg held when he didn't have it.
Yes. Undisciplined play there by Sandringham.
Mitchelson it was, as Crow has been attended to. He's got a bit of a mouse under the right eye there. Brett Gregg certainly having the better of Mitchelson. Blocked beautifully by Mark Truella. Now here's Brett Rowe going for home. Ordinary kick. Murray brought it to ground. Foley brilliantly tackled by Quinn. Johnston. McGeorge. Charged down by Quinn. Beautiful hands off to Brett Rowe from Zarafa. Wilkinson.
Yes. Played Murray.
Box Hill around the fall of the ball, but Murray beat 3.
He was gone. Feedingham Sam Daniel in the lion's den there, Murray, and there he is, #1. He got out of it.
He was very
What a
lucky.
miracle.
Lucky he didn't get paid a free kick.
Earlier, yes, the holding.
There's no doubt he held on to Wilkinson.
Johnston, even I saw that one, Sam. Johnston up to centre wing. Herman's in front. Cohen pushing and
Great
shoving.
stuff. No, he just leaned on him. He just leaned on him.
Lead from Truella. Truella into the pocket. O'Neill. Well, he's run from half back to create an option. And in turn, Rowe. Brett Rowe is spoiled, going for the mark. Back he goes onto it. Lambert got the hand pass out to Tarpey. Now in the ruck. The big fellow thumps into an attempted torpedo. Crow back on the ground, couldn't mark. 2-on-1, McCrabb, hands and knees. Lyle, cleverly, to Dwayne Rowe. This game's got everything. Rowe wide towards Peter Burke, moving okay. Good mark in front of McGeorge. Loose man in the centre, but Burke chooses to go long towards Wilkinson and Truella at the back, but Tarpey.
Wasting no time. And away goes Nick Murray. He can loop it over the top to McGeorge. Back to Nick Murray. Rowe came to meet him, and away they go, Maloney. Great run out of the back line from the Zebras. Another ordinary kick. O'Neill was able to spoil. Now they're rebounding the Mustangs. Livingston back to Jared O'Neill. The half-back wobbles it forward to Wilkinson. And Tarpey determined to hold him up. But one ordinary kick in the middle, and it could end up in a Box Hill goal.
Just shows you how good sides punish you. One indiscretion and one bad kick, as you've rightfully mentioned, Peter. And they've rebounded and ends up in the hands of Wilkinson from point-blank range, virtually 35 metres in front. Almost a hush over the crowd.
Darren Wilkinson throws the grass, blows towards the goal to which he's kicking. A little bit from left to right, but should not make any mistake from 25 metres. He hasn't. Wilkinson gets his second, and Box Hill go further in front. They now lead by 24 points.
Yes, so Peter, apart from the 4 goals on the scoreboard, which is a big enough problem in itself, they're in big trouble in terms of the way they're playing. And there's O'Neill coming through, and a wobbly kick, but there's Wilkinson. They're struggling in the back half, struggling in the midfield and their forward line, very static.
I think they're suffering from the fact they just haven't played enough hard football.
Box Hill have been really hard at the ball. One by Lyle. Another hit out to him. Heaney comes through. Garrett on his non-preferred foot, but Gregg's underneath it. Gregg, Crothers kicks around the corner. Foley off the ground for the Zebras and into the dressing room. That's bad luck for them. Allen over Quinn's head. Garrett had men coming from every direction. They're getting rid of it really quickly, the Zebras, because the tackling is ferocious. McCrabb couldn't get away from Rowe. Oh, that was great pressure.
That's just fantastic stuff.
I think there are about 5 1%ers there for John Murphy.
We said it was going to be one of the great grand finals. Perhaps it hasn't from a spectator point of view, but it's got everything, this game.
Lyle gets it down. Chris Garrett throws the ball out. Livingston couldn't knock it out because of Allen.
Well, it's a matter of two, Peter, how long they can carry the likes of Chris Garrett, because he is a passenger in a game that's too quick for him.
And Brett Bailey looks sluggish too off the bench. 4-goal leaders are the Stangers. Comes off Lyle's chest. He wrestles Tarpey and gives away a free kick.
Lucky.
And he just wrapped him up after the ball had gone. Andrew Tarpey. Gorozides leads for him. Banfield physically too strong. And what's that for?
Lyle's worrying them in defence. When he gets down there, they don't know where to kick the ball.
No, he's filling the corridor very well.
And Jared O'Neill's having a picnic, running away, using the ball well. Livingston. Truella, the spoil coming from McMaster.
O'Neill's job's been made so much easier because of Lyle, Peter. You know, a lot of people won't even see it on the screen, but every time they go to kick the ball, Sandringham, Lyle is there in the line of vision.
They're so slow to get it up because the pressure is fantastic in midfield, Phil. It's really hard for those zebra forwards. Crow. Truella. Inside 50, a spoil by Peter Burke on McGeorge, and a throw in the forward pocket. Well, Burke has come up trumps. There he is, the dynamic little midfielder.
Oh, isn't he ever?
Look at the look on his face.
Would eat a football without a doubt.
Said to have drawn inspiration from Dennis Knight coming back after a knee injury. Livingston, did he have it? Advantage. Now, loose one. Wilkinson, Murray in front. Got away. Zukaski will switch it. But he sees Mitchelson with Greg. And off the ball is a free kick. And down goes McMaster. But I think it's a free to Wilkinson.
Yes. Manhandled behind play. And good umpiring this.
By umpire Nichols. So Box Hill, nothing to complain about here.
Tinge of frustration creeping into the Sandringham side.
Which is in big, big trouble.
It's already 24 points in Box Hill's favour. Darren Wilkinson looking for number 3. No problem. And the lead out for 5 goals.
And you wonder how they would go about bridging this league. When you look across the field at Sandringham, you wonder just which players they can pluck to rearrange. There's not a lot in the offing, really. Wilkinson, very good player. Silly free kick there.
A real test for Trevor Barker here. Now, see if we can pick it up at the back here. McMaster, was it? Yes. Trying to shepherd off Wilkinson.
Somewhat callous, Peter, but crude. And well spotted.
Crow, as they advance on him. Knocked forward by Cohen. McMaster knocks it back. Lyle caught. Gets rid of sorts to Livingston, who didn't want to let it go. Tarpey putting his body in. Lyle's kick off the ground. Crow, good hands. Pat Lambert. Where is it, says Phil Crothers. Swan, brought down by Gorozides. Free kick, David Swan.
Well, they're continually in front and making the ball the object. So they're going to be in receipt of a free kick
to the running Burke. Met it well, McGeorge. Gorozides well out from the goal mouth. And the ball bounces over.
Gee, McGeorge there kicked it round the corner. He should have just popped it up for Gorozides.
He's their only goal kicker, George Gorozides. Lyle, an easy tap win against Tarpey. Garrett hooks it back. McCrabb there with Crothers. Loose ball, Amiot tries to find Clarkson. Made it difficult for him. Straightens up. Oh, well smothered. Look at the desperation from Zarafa. It squirts out to Heaney.
Oh, magnificent football.
Banfield relieves the pressure.
Bailey against Livingston.
This is a great grand final, Sam, you're right. For sheer pressure, this is just a wonderful game of football.
And if it's the team you're barracking for that's winning that sort of pressure contest, there's nothing more satisfying. You can hear that in the applause from the crowd.
Yes, they're really acknowledging the spirit and the commitment.
Raffle was caught by Maloney. Something might break here for the Zebras. Steve Maloney probably been their best player as he hoists it high. McCrabb or Gorozides. Gorozides plucks it to the back. What a goal! Magnificent play, George Gorozides. He knew exactly what he was doing there.
What a goal,
Tapped himself, the ball to himself and gets his second. Maybe that'll inspire something.
Oh, that was World Cup football, wasn't it, Sam? Like the way he
Pity Greece didn't have Gorozides over in the World Cup. They might have scored a goal with him.
Look at him go for it. Over the back, he tries to just flick it over, and there's no way he's going to kick that. Oh, magnificent. What a game we're seeing. Pressure, some beautiful skill play.
Well, master of improvisation. Perhaps it needed something like that, perhaps, Peter, to inspire them. You're right. See if that will get them going.
Back to 24 points. Can Crow win a tap out against Lyle? Well, in the end, Johnson had to fly, but Box Hill almost cleared it from the centre. In the way, Lambert. McMaster strides out, spots a man. It's McCrabb. In comes Heaney. Mitchelson running onto it, but Heaney's there. Into the back. Umpire lets it go. Heaney holds his head. Loose one. Johnston kicks there. Oh, he's got it, I think.
Missed it.
Wide.
They needed that.
Golden opportunity missed by Lyle Johnston.
Well, they pushed it forward. They kept pushing it forward. And I think Trevor Barker at quarter time, Ross, actually said to them, keep pushing it forward, players. That was a good example of it.
Lyle Johnson hasn't kicked a goal this season. Back at the club. Played in the Premiership 2 years ago. Troy Heaney. Into Cohen. And Herman well over the mark. Held when he didn't have it. That's what these Zebra fans think.
Good umpiring.
Tarpey. Well, he was brought down. Down goes Swan. The whistle being put away. McMaster down. They've got a bit of momentum up here. Johnston's kick, though. Not a good one. Livingston. Burke puts his body in nicely. Over the top of it, Wilkinson, but Burke ready to pounce. Allen's going to push him boundary line-wise. Great stuff.
Oh, football. Fantastic football there. The pressure is just intense. And good umpiring, too, by the men in white.
Kieran Nichols and Jeff Caulfield in charge of this grand final. Box Hill going for their first ever First Division Premiership. McGeorge tackled by Quinn. A minute from time on in the second quarter. And Box Hill still by 24 points. Was out to 30. Nichols with a bounce. 60 metres from the goal. Box Hill, Crow. Caught by Livingston, who's had a great half of football.
Yeah, he's been a terrific player in midfield, Livingston. And the duel between Quinn and Allen's also been a highlight. There's Livingston on screen. Greg. There's Daly on screen.
He hasn't been a problem, but they've had lots of others. Johnston. Lyle won't get there in time. O'Neill uses the body very well. He's got pace. 6'3" from half back. Thumps it long. McMaster won't fly. He stays down. The ball falls to Zakaski. Two men here for Sandringham. Lambert to Shepherd. McMaster. Over the top, Mitchelson. Clarkson's loose in the centre, but Mitchelson goes long, looking for Tarpey in front of O'Neill, who spoils. Roving Heaney, tackled by Amiot, knocked away by Crothers to Gorozides, kicks his third, is it no Tarpey? Oh, he's missed. That is unbelievable. Formerly played here at Victoria Park for the Woods.
Oh, that was great play by Gorozides, set it up nicely, and Andrew Tarpey, well, he went on with it, Sammy.
Well, that's a rare sight, isn't it? And Ross rightfully pointed out he played his football here too. He should know where they are.
Well, he just dropped the ball appallingly onto his foot.
And O'Neill is in big trouble, Peter, going off the field.
Well, what a blow that is for the Mustangs. He's blanketed Tarpey and grimacing as he goes off.
Big trouble with an ankle, I think.
Banfield. Box Hill have been able to work their
bench very effectively, Peter, but just how long can it stand up?
An up and under from Banfield. Crow brings it to ground. Cohen.
Oh,
that's going to be against Allen.
Wrong decision.
Yeah, I agree.
Wrong decision.
That was a body-to-body contest.
Pathetic, Peter. Got it wrong.
Stood his
Quinn
ground.
goes towards Wilkinson. It'll drop well short. Mitchelson starting to get into the play a bit. Beat Hewson there in his first attempt to get the ball, but Rowe's kick is bad. That's one of their few poor kicks, and it was Maloney to receive the free kick.
A golden opportunity. It would have released Greg to run nearly into an open goal.
If Sandringham can get a goal or even two before the siren, the momentum has certainly switched to them.
Holding his knee, I suspect, yes.
Knee, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
But you're right, Peter, the last 10 minutes, you can just see the pendulum turning.
It's a great test for Box Hill here. They've just got to hold out because Sandringham is showing some spirit.
2 minutes into time on. 22 points is the difference. There's O'Neill.
Oh, what a blow. That is a
cruel blow.
Lyle won it again over Crow, but it's sharked by Garrett. A quick kick. Zarafa in front of Johnston. Takes the mark.
always good overhead, Laurie Zarafa.
Centre wing. Crothers makes a lead. So too did Hewson. Knocked away by McMaster. Disney didn't have it. The umpires have let it go. Well done. Squirted out. Here's Johnston. Spots a man wide. Going very wide indeed. Herman it is. In front of Cohen. Caught on the back foot. Centering kick by Herman. Amiet goes up. It beats them all. At the back, Clarkson. Maloney in support. If Clarkson can get it out to him, he's held. He didn't have it. Banfield relieves the pressure to Swan. And Swan kicks out in front of Gregg.
Brett Gregg has got no support here, but he slips away from Lambert. Nephew of dual Brownlow winner Keith Gregg up into the half-forward line, where Sikaski gets around Daly. McGeorge. Herman. Just spoiled in time by Cohen. Mitchelson pushed off when he didn't have the footy. He can give it to Crow. The Zebras looking for a major before half-time. And he can keep going. Justin Crow off the side of the boot.
Tarpey.
Swan to see it over the boundary line. Throw in about 20 metres around from the Sandy goal. We've played 29 minutes second quarter.
Good, I feel like I'm playing the game.
I'm exhausted.
Yes, I am too. I'm looking to put my feet up.
Trouble is you can't have a rest at half-time, Phil. Lyle against Tarpey. They all misjudged the throw. Truella won it. Crothers off. Caught, but he got it away just in time. Cohen was just a bit harder at the ball. McCrabb over it. Backhanders it out. Livingston was quick. Rowe missed. Well, no easy kicks. Now, Herman, can he conjure up a goal from the boundary line? It's close. Gorozides there. Amiet over the shoulder. That hasn't gone the right direction, I don't think.
Amiet could have handballed that out, you know. There was a free player there. Couldn't quite spot it. It was a zebra jumper on the edge of the square.
21 points in front of Box Hill. They've increased their quarter-time lead by 3 points, but they did lead by 30 midway through this term. It's a damage control exercise for them at the moment. Heaney, another brilliant kick in.
Great kick, Peter.
This is something that Sandringham have got to try and do. They're getting it away from fullback too easily, the Mustangs. They certainly had the better of the first half, but Sandy go in with some sort of hope after a spirited showing in the second part of that term. 21 points is the half-time lead for Box Hill over Sandringham. Goal kickers for Box Hill to half-time. Darren Wilkinson has 3. Livingston, Disney and Daly 1. Gorozides 2 in that quarter for Sandringham is their lone goal kicker. Not a high-scoring grand final. The pressure is intense, and Box Hill the honours in the first half. The VFA Grand Final live on ABC Sport. We'll be back shortly with the traditional half-time sprint over 400 metres. Box Hill leads Sandringham by 21 points.
The Labour Party is meeting to decide on the sale of the century.
I don't think there's actually anything that has to remain in government ownership.
Governments are deciding, will we sell our water, our dams, the freeways and the airports?
If we learn anything from the 80s, we would learn that the private sector can be just as wrong, just as wasteful, just as inefficient as government.
To sell or not to sell? Next on Four Corners, the sale of the century, 8:30 Monday.
Suspect I'm being watched. No real proof as yet, just a gut reaction.
He's a man on the edge.
Stay away from me, right? Just keep your distance.
Consumed by paranoia and delusion.
Things going well until the good doctor arrived.
But things
Come on.
are not always what they seem.
If everything's above board, you've got nothing to worry about.
Desperate Measures, next on GP, 8:30 Tuesday.
The runners preparing for the 18th consecutive running of the VFA Grand Final half-time sprint, the Telecom Mobile Net race over 400 metres. They've competed during the final series to win a place in the final, and $5,200 is up for grabs. Just recapping what has happened in the first half of the Grand Final, with the odds against Sandringham halfway through that term when they were 30 points down, but they fought back well to be within 21 points at half-time. This game is far from over. Goal kickers to half-time, and the star has been Darren Wilkinson at full forward for Box Hill. The second top goal kicker in the league this season, and he's kicked 3 today. Livingston Daly and Disney, the single goal kickers, and George Gorazidis. His brother Con played in the 1985 premiership for Sandringham. He was a premiership player in 92, and he kicked an inspirational goal there through that quarter to give Sandringham a little bit of momentum going into the third quarter. But a break from the footy now. The runners have been called over for the Telecom Mobile Net sprint over 400 metres, with $5,200 worth of prize money up for grabs, and the winner to receive $3,000. It's the richest sprint over 400 metres in Australia, and who better to introduce the runners and to call the race for you but the voice of professional foot running, Eddie Bush.
Thanks very much, Peter, and this should be a very good race indeed. The runners, of course, have been in training for a number of months, because this is the richest prize for a 400-metre event in professional foot running in Australia. We've got a very good field indeed. Dallas Barrett is the back marker in the red, and we go right out then to the purple, Bruce Mesley, who was off 38. The handicaps, of course, have been changed since the heats, so it'll be interesting. The back marker, actually, Barrett, is the one that's probably the best handicap because his mark hasn't changed. They're ready to go now, and the runners, the first runner to go out to his mark will be the purple, Bruce Mesley from 38. Mesley, a veteran going to the games in Queensland. He has been a finalist every week that the series has been on, and Bruce Mesley, the first one in the purple to move out to his mark. The second runner is the brown, Joe Brown from 36. He's won over 70 metres, and he's won up to 1,600 metres, and won this year at Geelong West over 400. The grey, Gary Mowat from 20. He won the third week, then was a scratching in the fourth week, which was an unusual, he was confident he'd make it. The black is Mark Hipworth from 18. Hipworth, a finalist in the Store Gift, a Bernie Gift winner and winner of the 3,200 metres at Easter. The pink is Dean Benton, the winner last week off 18. The green, Nathan Cool of Ballarat from 12. There's only one restricted. The yellow, Jamie Cartwright, a finalist in this event before off 10, 200 metre winner at Stawell. The blue, Gary Simons from 6 metres, a very good winner in the heats. He won second in the 400 at Stawell at Easter. The white, Andrew Wilcox, possibly the best runner in the race. He's off a metre, been in amateur teams, represented Victoria as an amateur. And the runner from Lakes Entrance, the red, Dallas Barrett, racing from scratch. So that's the field in the final of the 400. Just waiting for the starter, Bill O'Connor, to bring them up. They're ready to go now in the final. They're on the way in the final of the 400, and out in front Bruce Mesley. Joe Brown, who is the runner in the brown behind him, he's got the easiest race behind Mesley because he is going to have the pace set for him. Gary Mowat is the next runner. The runner there in the pink is Dean Benton, a very strong runner. Losing ground is Mowat. Then going around them is Jamie Cartwright in the yellow. Further back, Wilcox hasn't made much ground, and neither is the back marker Barrett. They come to the top turn, and Mesley it is still in front. The one that's made all the ground is the pink Dean Benton it is that's gone up now. Joe Brown in the centre looms into the front now. Joe Brown it is in front. The back marker's working home. Cool going down the outside. Well, we got him wrong last week, and Cool it is out in front. Wilcox the only danger, and Cool it is from Ballarat will take it out. Wilcox has run second. Barrett, a very good run, is third, and the limit marker Bruce Mesley has run fourth. Well, the colours were handed out wrong last week, and we had Cool winning because he was in the wrong colour, but no doubt about it today. Well, here they come around the home turn. Joe Brown momentarily in front, but Cool, a very tong. His brother actually has been fourth in the Australian 400 on 2 occasions. That's the open amateur, and the back Andrew Wilcox couldn't get to him. And now Ross will make the presentation to Nathan Cool.
Thanks, Eddie. Nathan Cool, well done on that fantastic finish, and you held them off at the end. And Joe Weller from Telecom MobileNet has the cup and the sash.
Thank you, Ross. Congratulations, Nathan. Yep. Well run. I've got a bundle of goodies here for you.
Thank you.
In order of importance, we've got the trophy, the sash. I'll just lift them up. That's the way.
Yep.
And now I've just got to find the check for you here somewhere. Again, congratulations, and
thanks a lot.
On winning the Telecom MobileNet VFA 400-metre sprint.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joe. A cheque for $3,000 from Telecom MobileNet. Well done, Nathan. You're a bit of an athletics family, from an athletics family.
Yeah, my brother's a bit of a runner too. He's done all right. I guess I'll be to thank Telecom MobileNet. Excellent sponsorship. I'd like to thank the VAL for organising it. My coach, Ian Gudgeon, training partners, mum and dad, and my girlfriend for coming along each week.
Indeed, okay,
Yep.
Terrific. And perhaps you should go and put on a zebra jumper. You're tall enough. Well done, Nathan Phil.
Thank you.
Cool.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks very much, Ross, and Nathan, his brother Josh, an Australian 400 champion, and well, Nathan, certainly now the Cool in the family that everyone will watch closely from now on. And thanks to Eddie Bush for calling for us right through the sprint series. Well, there's a big event coming up in Melbourne in February 1995. Starting on the 26th, it's the Police and Fire Games. Now, Eddie Bush mentioned that coming up in Queensland this week, it's the World Masters Games. There's 23,000 competitors up there for that. Well, there's 7,000 coming from all over the world to the Police and Fire Games here in Melbourne next year. Now, just to put this event into perspective, let's hear from the Police Minister, Mr. Pat McNamara.
This, in fact, is the first time that the event has been hosted outside North America. It's hosted every 2 years, and I suppose we're virtually being the first part of the world that's turning this into an international event. But it's very significant in terms of competitors. More than 7,000 competitors, which was substantially more than the numbers of competitors that recently competed in the Commonwealth Games in Canada. We anticipate more than 30 countries will be involved from all parts of the world, and we're hopeful that as entries continue to file in, that we'll see those numbers start to increase. While they're here, we know that a lot are also looking at going to other parts of the state and enjoying some of the magnificent countryside, as well as our great theatres and restaurants in Melbourne. And I think it's going to be a great promotion for this state, because these people are going to go back to their home countries, I believe, with some very positive messages, in a similar fashion to when the world focused on Melbourne during the 1956 Olympics. You'll remember those games were known as the friendly games. Equally, I think these games are going to have that same sort of feeling, and I'm sure that Melbourne will extend the same sort of warmth of welcome that they did in 1956. I think it's going to be quite a spectacular competition, and to have competitors from around the world competing effectively. This is going to be one of the major sporting events that this city has hosted, a very significant one, and I hope that Melbourne will get behind it.
And as you might have gathered from the demonstrations taking place on Victoria Park, this is a sporting event with a difference. There are 30 events and there's some weird and wonderful ones, including a strongest man competition. I wonder if a former VFA footballer, he played for Springvale in their 1987 premiership victory and of course was a champion at Richmond, and he's a policeman as well. Emmett Dunn, I wonder if he's competing. He's with Ross Booth.
Thanks, Peter. Well, Emmett, what's happening out here at the moment? This the toughest competitor of all time, is it?
Just the toughest competitor alive, Roscoe. It's one of the events in the upcoming World Police and Fire Games, which has been conducted in Melbourne from the 26th of February to the 5th of March next year. And we're expecting in excess of 7,000 competitors and an equal number of family and friends. So it's up to 15,000 people coming to Melbourne for the week. So it's a major, major event in the Melbourne sporting calendar.
And what's it worth to the Victorian economy?
Up to $25 million in flow-on effect of travel and so forth. So you can understand it's very important for Victoria.
And how many activities are there, 50 or 60?
There's 56 sports at 65 venues, so you can understand it's a very big organisational situation that we're rolling along, we're getting there.
What happens around the world if there are any police troubles or crime or fires?
I think they'll be pretty well looked after, but yes, it'll be good fun. We're looking forward to it. The event you see out here, is an obstacle course, which is a part of the event that I'm coordinating. It's the event that I'm doing is the toughest competitor alive, and it's like a decathlon, if you like. We've got 8 legs, and they've got a cross-country, 5K cross-country, a shot put, 100-metre sprint, 100-metre swim, rope climb, bench press, pull-ups, and then there's the obstacle course, which you can see out in the ground at the moment. So it's a pretty tough event, mine.
And it all takes place in February?
That's right, 26th of February to the 5th of March.
And again, how many spectators or participants? 70,000?
In excess of 7,000, with another 7,000 people coming along. And it's rather unique because all proceeds go to charity, and all the events are open free of charge to the public to come along and have a look at it. So it's very much a goodwill exercise for police all over the world.
Thanks, Emmett. Emmett Dunn, one of the coordinators of the World Police and Fire Games, and 1987 member of the Springvale Premiership team. And who are you going for?
Well, just quickly, the Underdogs Box Hill, I suppose. Looking good. I'm cheating though, aren't I? I set the scoreboard.
Okay. Emmett Dunn.
Using the retrospectoscope there, Emmett Dunn, but that should be a terrific event next year, the Police and Fire Games. Well, with me now, we usually meet this winner during halftime, the VFA Grand Final, the winner of the Quit Junior VFA Footballer of the Year Award for 1994 is Trent Arbachi from the Werribee Football Club. Congratulations, Trent.
Thanks a lot.
Well, you received that cup pre-match. A big thrill for you.
Yeah, it's a great honour to just win this. So it's good.
You played 2 senior games for the Tigers this year, and you've been playing football and winning awards, it looks like, since, 12 years of age at least. We hear so much about burnout in footballers. Are you still do you still have that childish passion for the game?
Yeah, well, last year I sort of took a bit of a breather, so I felt a bit of burnout, but then I come back this year and did the work over summer, and I did all right this year.
You're just 17, is that correct?
Yeah.
So to play in senior football, did it give you the taste that that's what you want to do?
Yeah, it was really good to play a couple of games, next to Blakes like, Joskin Aziz and Donald McDonald, and it's just great feeling to play next to them.
Well, Robert DeRosa won this award last year, and he's since gone on to all Australian representative honours in the Teal Cup, and there's a hot tip for the draft in November. That your aim for 1995?
Yeah, I'd still like to play with Werribee though next year and just see how it goes.
All right, how it goes. The Tigers in a revamped competition, I suppose. A little bit unsure about just how next year will pan out.
Yeah, we'll just put in a fair bit of work over summer and we'll just see how we go next year. Hopefully we'll do well.
All right, and where do you play?
Just on the wing.
Just on the wing, okay. So all those wingmen out there in VFA land, watch out for Trent next year. Well done.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Trent Arbachi from the Werribee Football Club, the winner of the VFA Quit Junior Footballer of the Year for 1994. Well, there's a lot of anxious people out there with raffle tickets, because the VFA annual raffle draw is about to take place for the Ford Festiva, and well, I've got my ticket here. Ross Booth, please draw it out of the barrel for me.
Well, I'd like to, Peter, but I've got a special guest, the VFA Personality of the Year. All you VFA supporters will recognise the Dandenong Redleg full forward and ex-Oakley and wherever else, Coburg full-back, I believe. Reno, well done.
Thank you very much, Ross. Yeah, it's been a great day today, and Box Hill are playing really well at the moment, and look like they might go all the way and finish it off.
They may well do. Well, let's choose the winner, or you choose the first winner. It's for a Ford Festiva, Reno, and he's working out a difficulty because he's had the Achilles heel operation. And
there it is, Ross.
There it is. The winner of the Ford Festiva. Rod Morgan's watching on anxiously. Andrew Boyd of Nunawading is the winner of the Ford Festiva. Well done. Second prize, Reno. Keep working. There's a Gold Coast holiday for 2. Well done. And E. Maverick of Dandenong is the winner of that Gold Coast holiday for 2. And third prize is a TIAC colour television. And Reno has got the name here.
No one. Oh, Jim Island.
Jim Island, the Oakley president. Well, now, did you spot that? No, I don't think you did.
No.
Jim Island has won the colour television. How about that, the Oakley president? Well done, Reno. And we've got to ask you, you're going to make a comeback? How old are you?
30. No, 35, Ross.
35. Yeah. 70, 87 goals this year. And how many over your VFA career?
1,070, I believe. Yeah, that's not a bad effort, I suppose. But I don't know, Ross. It's a big decision, and see how it comes up over the summer. And if it comes up okay, I might be around again. You never know.
If you're probably too old to play in the under-18s.
Yeah, it's just a little bit, just a tad. Yeah.
Okay. Champion VFA goal kicker at many clubs, including the Redlegs of most recently, Reno Pretto.
Yes, second on the all-time list behind Fred Cook. Fred probably can rest easily, I think. I don't know that Reno's going to be able to get the chance to get that all-time list, but he's certainly been a wonder up there at full forward, having begun his career at Coburg at full-back, Philip.
Well, that was his second club, I think. We got him from Camberwell. Yes, John Nichols played him at full-back for a season, and he in fact held Fred Cook goalless, I think, in 1981 at the City Oval in a game we won by about 8 goals. It was a good game in the days when VFA reigned supreme, Sammy.
Yes, you might have got the idea there from Ross that things still very much up in the air about Dandenong and Oakley next year, but let's talk about the present. And it's Sandringham out onto the ground pretty early to start the second half. I think they would have been a bit disappointed that the siren went there at half-time, Phil.
Yes, they were coming good, Peter. There's no doubt about it, but gee, they're under a lot of pressure. I just get the sense maybe they were starting to get on top of that pressure, and Sam will comment on this surely. But, you know, when you come in having had a rest, you've got to get yourself into place again. Get yourself into gear again, and the other side, Box Hill, having played last week, and there was Gorozides. There was an important goal, that second quarter goal. There's the Mustangs, they've looked good. They're good in the midfield. Wilkinson's dangerous on the forward line. In the back half, they've been able to cut Sandy out of the game. That was Livingston putting one through. And Lyle, really, he's been terrific. And a lot, the people who are watching won't see all the work that Lyle's doing because he's getting behind. That was Rowe who came on. And there's O'Neill, who went off injured. That's a big blow. We'll see how he goes shortly. But Lyle going into the back half. This ends up with Wilkinson. Well, look at that. They don't come much easier than that. That was a real wobbler, that kick. And Wilkinson putting through the goal. But Lyle in the back half, Sam, he's been very good, hasn't he? And they've kept Sandringham going wide. And they look good, the Mustangs.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, Phil. This is one of the few sorties forward. But I thought Peter made a very relevant comment. The last 10 minutes, that Cortez Maloney's long kick. That's a fabulous improvisation by Gorozides. Gorozides off the ground, and he's kicked the only 2 majors by Sandringham. And I thought in the last 10 minutes that second term, that they were gathering the impetus and the momentum with them. The statistics, well, relatively even. Handball slightly in favour of Sandringham. Kicks Box Hill's way, using the ball up better. The aerial supremacy is quite prevalent.
John Murphy won't be too unhappy about the free kicks this week.
No, he will not. And that bottom one's significant on this occasion because Lyle, as Phil rightfully mentioned out, has had a significant impact on the game. He's on top of Crow, and his work in defence, filling in the corridor, has been absolutely superb.
OK, well, put it on the line. I think Sandringham can win this game. Philip?
Well, I tipped them. I'll have to say they'll sneak home, but I don't say it with much conviction, Sam.
Well, I went from Box Hill from the outset, and I can see no reason why I should be changing my opinion at this
Horse
point
in
in time.
midstream.
You're too big a man for that, Sammy.
Well, it's not a case of being a big man. I just thought I analysed and did my sums fairly well.
Well,
At this point,
the sums have changed because Jared O'Neill, will he be able to take any further part in the match? Ross Booth, what's the story on him?
Well, I can see Jared O'Neill out there. He's lining up on Andrew Tarpey. He appears to be okay. The trouble is an ankle, as we saw. But Shane Foley, I believe he's still in the Sandringham rooms. They're very tight-lipped about the nature of his problem, but clearly it's serious if he's not out there, and I can't see him at the moment.
Lost from Sandringham's perspective, because as we all know, Foley is so critical to their cause. He's the one that gets them going out of midfield and a critical link player.
Well, Ross said an ankle, but that looked a bit like a knee bandage to me. But
Ross is usually good on the anatomy, Peter.
Foley didn't come back out after half-time in the second semi-final, and he hasn't done it again in the grand final. So I don't know if it's a reoccurrence of that thigh strain. Just waiting to clear the ground. The VFA Grand Final, third quarter underway. And Box Hill going from left to right. Lead by 21 points. Lyle gets it down. Sikorsky tries to burst through. Daly wouldn't let him. Brett Gregg. Crow dropping back. Comes off to Quinn. Too slow to get it away. McGeorge. Oh, you'd hate to be under this, but Herman held his ground well. Beautiful kick. Maloney spoilt well by Rowe. And which way is that going to go? It's going to go to Rowe. Body against body. The Mustang player wins out. Dwayne Rowe. His kick's a bad one. Amiot, though, is outmarked by Swan. Nearly run down. But Daly plucks the mark. Out of position. Great balance and good hands.
Yes, well, this is the bonus that Box Hill have. Another high leaping forward. Very agile, very good, equally adept at ground level. But it was always going to be a problem for Sandringham was his marking prowess. On that occasion, we saw evidence of it. A good kick for goal from about 35 to 40 out directly in front.
Robin Daly has played every game this year for Box Hill, going for his 36th goal of the year. He's not going to get it. Pulled that one. The difference is 22 points in favour of the Mustangs over the Zebras.
Yes, and that forward line for Zebras is the same. And there's Daly. He can play, but this bloke.
Nick Murray to put it back into play. In comes Crow. The spoil from Disney. Cohen's hands to Truella. Wilkinson has front position. Spoiled by Murray. Rowe lets Quinn take over. And he put it out in the full.
Yes, could have, well, obviously endeavoured to centre it, but unfortunately the execution wasn't there. Quinn will be keen to atone. More importantly, from Box Hill's point of view, they're deep into attack. Sandringham under siege.
Sikorsky hoisting it towards Crow. Lyle taps down. Hand go off from Johnston to Herman. Maloney breaks away from Rowe on this occasion and squares the ball for Amiot. Swan having the better of him. McCrabb couldn't get it away, and Crothers grabs the footy.
He's in dreamland, McCrabb. He doesn't seem to know what he's doing. He just goes to the deck and he's, what'll I do with it? Instead of getting it out.
Tarpey and Lyle. Tarpey held his footing. Swan's got it. Was that high?
Yeah, they've been guilty of that, Sandringham, on a number of occasions. I think they've given about 4 or 5 of those. A bit crude. They should be pulling the guy back when they pin his arms and tackle him. But they ride him into the ground.
David Swan.
Poor execution.
Lyle and Crow. Over the back comes Truella. The throw in. Centre wing. Crowley. Mark Evans on the right of screen. Crowley eating the pie. And
Shepherd's pie, was it?
Oh, I don't know.
Strengthening that knee. Crow won it. Another high tackle.
Livingston has been terrific. Midfield.
Daly makes the lead. Zukaski right with him. Now the ball beautifully weighted for Daly. He just got underneath it. Greg caught by McCrabb. Did he have the ball? Brett Rowe went in strongly. McMaster feeds it out to Lambert. He has to come back the other way. Look at the pressure on the Sandy defence. Now Anthony Allen.
Beautiful kick.
Towards Bailey. Brett Bailey.
There's still no momentum. Very flat-footed.
Clarkson was in the middle. He preferred Tarpey, and Jared O'Neill. Well, that was fine. Yes, I did say ankle. That was the information I was given, but it clearly is the knee. But whatever it is, it looks to be okay. There's Shane Foley in the dressing gown. We don't know the nature of his problem.
Tarpey had Lyles sneak in underneath his arm.
Perhaps Lyles should have the headgear.
Heaney off to O'Neill. Zukaski body on body with Daly. Rowe taps it down to Peter Burke.
Oh, Burkey.
Missed a few that they normally would have got.
Oh, he usually drills those two, Peter Burke.
He's kicked 3 behinds today.
The sheepdog, as he's known in Vauxhall circles.
Gee, that was a bad miss.
Crow. Not a lot for him to kick to. Now, Chris Garrett's going to have to fly here, but Herbert in front holds it well. Away goes Clarkson. Disney's had the better of him. O'Neill is very proppy. But behind him, though, it's Swan.
Very good mopping up, Swan.
Good kick too, Zarafa. He was handballing it to Cohen before he'd marked it. Well done from Cohen. 11 possessions in the first half. Lovely centering kick. Hauled in by Truella.
See, big leapers up forward.
Now Livingston. Wilkinson's led underneath it. The double back, Daly.
Gee, Livingston's work there on Bailey to receive the ball. Bailey couldn't run through the mark. He dragged him round the back. His greater speed meant he was able to receive the ball from Truella, and then on the left boot he's found Daly. Real
Moving
smart
the ball
football.
quick, Phil. You can't quell or subdue that entire forward line. Truella, Daly, Wilkinson.
Robin Daly for his second of the day. What a good goal. The start of the third quarter. He's put it through. The difference is 29 points in favour of the Mustangs. Shane Foley has gone back into the dressing rooms for Sandringham.
We'll see it here. Just
great mark.
Great mark. And watch Livingston. He goes right round the back. There he goes. And Bailey's caught out, and I would not have Bailey on Livingston. Really, that is asking for big trouble, Sam.
McKenzie
coming on
for the Zebras. He's going into the forward pocket, and
Amiet
may have gone off.
Well, he hasn't had a touch. Been very poor.
Johnson puts down Livingston. Lyle takes the kick. In front, Wilkinson. Standing down was Lambert. Caught by Greg. Johnston, Clarkson, wide to Allen. Tarpey, much relying on his shoulders.
Yeah, I think if they're going to get out of this hole, he's the one that's going to have to ignite them.
He looks for Gorozides. Lyle's back drop back in the way. He spoils. Heaney at the fall. Well done. Dribbling kick. Beats Johnston. Loose one. Zarafa there. And Livingston. Zarafa around the man. Torpedo inside 50. Daly. Almost. Truella is caught by McGeorge. High tackle, says Peter Burke.
Must be holding the ball if he is going to let it go, unless he's squaring up for not paying the mark. That is holding the ball. He had prior opportunity there. No good shaking the head. Wrong decision, umpire.
No, I think the shake of the head is to clear the head for Daly, but you are correct, Philip. Livingston everywhere.
Great play.
Magnificent handball to Daly. Wilkinson. No, it's Truella coming the wrong way.
Magnificent.
There's that quartet of forwards we talk about. And what about that instinctive hand pass from Livingston? He knew he was under trouble, and he knew he had Daly behind him. And he just whacked it behind, and Daly's long kick to Truella. Wilkinson was under enormous pressure, and this is where you can't cover them all.
Home for Mark Truella. Box Hill. Not yet, but what a start to the third term.
Oh, yes, I think they're home, Peter. I know it's premature and you're tempting fate, predicting a game with so much football left, but that was that instinctive hand pass I was alluding to. And
good setup there, Sam.
Well, good setup.
Good play to Truella, who's a high lead. I think he's got to get Allen into the play somehow, Sam. I'd get him into the midfield. And
yeah,
he's one of their good players.
Well, you've got to win the game now.
And I agree with you. I think they're gone. I just can't see how they can get on top of Box Hill now.
Nearly 6 goals is the deficit. Disney out of the square again. Zakaski. Daly applies the tackle. Johnston, Allen did pretty well. The smell from Dwayne Rowe was terrific. McGeorge, busy. Lyle there. Chipping in was Garrett. Didn't take possession. Now he's got another chance as Lyle's thrown down. Tarpey, will it sit for him? Back comes Heaney. The tall and the short. Feeds it out to Maloney. Gorizides back in the goal square. Maloney heads long for goal. And that is a magnificent reply. Steve Maloney.
He's been good, he and Allen. But gee, didn't Andrew Tarpey look slow? And there's, Peter Burke, and he is in a lot of pain on the ankle. A lot of pain. And Tarpey here puts it over the top. Maloney's got nowhere to go. He has to kick the goal. And I'll tell you what, 55, 60 metres.
He is the best kicker in VFA football, Maloney, without a doubt. Prodigious kick of the ball.
29 points down. The Zebras. Can they follow that one up? Lyle winning those bounces. McGeorge just a blind kick over the shoulder. McCrabb is number 13. Greg, 36.
Gee, he's had trouble with the tempo, hasn't he, McCrabb?
Yes, Sam, I don't know. He's sort of betwixt and between.
Go, Zebras, go.
Amiot and Foley on the bench.
It's not what one would have anticipated being a Zebra supporter before you arrived at Victoria Park today.
Knocked forward by Dwayne Rowe. Livingston.
Been terrific.
Inside 50. Back goes Truella. No one touched it.
Almost.
Quinn. No clean possession. Brett Rowe charges at the ball. Coming through like a train is Mackenzie. Maloney with Swan. Swan
what a
easily.
Anticipation.
He's been a giant killer.
To Wilkinson. Back in board. Zarafa puts it up. Looking for a big man to leap. Daly couldn't. McCrabb should rush this through. He chooses to clear it. Was there a man to take receipt of it? Yes, it's Bailey. Gets around the man. Crow was ready for the hand pass. Bailey looks for Herman and finds him. Away goes Herman. Just a little bit of a spark in the Zebra legs. Garrett.
Heaney.
Edges Heaney out of the ball. Whips it back to Tarpey. On a lead is McMaster moved into attack.
O'Neill's gone.
He's down, but yes.
He's in agony.
Just outside the 50-metre line, Jared O'Neill. In a lot of pain.
They have to stop the play here, the umpires.
Yeah, I don't think that was a wise idea putting him back out there. He was very properly right from the start of the third quarter, but I suppose a case of has to, and if the ligament was hanging by a thread, it's now gone altogether, you'd think, and he is in incredible pain. I was talking to Cam Crowley before the match, and he said he didn't realise just what pain is involved in these knee injuries.
Oh, well, it's quite evident that he needs a stretcher, and they're still...
Play on Cohen. He kicks it right over the prostrate teammate, and it's plucked brilliantly by McGeorge, and they've got to stop it.
The trainers have to indicate to the umpire.
Well, exactly, the tray, you're right.
They do, I believe, and they haven't.
Well, yesterday at the MCG, Paul Couch called the stretcher on for Bairstow.
Here's the stretcher on the ground now.
Finally, it's being stopped. And what a tragic end to the season for Jared O'Neill. And they must be down to 18 men now, the Mustangs.
Gee, it's about the only thing that could stop them winning the game, I reckon, too, Peter, because they have reigned supreme.
What a sad sight for this kid. You know, one of the most talented in the competition. And we've been following him closely too, Phil, haven't we, the last 4 or 5 years?
Indeed.
Remember, as a raw kid, his kicking was atrocious. He was raw. He had a lot of ability, but gee, he's fine-tuned and developed into a great player.
He's certainly the kind of player you'd be looking at in a draft.
No, certainly. Just hope it's not as serious as it looks.
Jared O'Neill. Every game this season, and you wouldn't think we'll see him again.
Well, that may serve as an inspiration to his mates, seeing him carried off on a stretcher would certainly, they would react and respond. And Peter Burke, there's the other casualty.
Not the knee, it's the ankle. I mean, the knee was the...
Well, how would you work out what it is, Ross?
Well,
I think the only thing he hasn't had is a lobotomy.
The knee was the one that was keeping him out, but he's done his ankle.
That much tape. There's about $480 worth of tape on him.
He's in a lot of pain by the looks of it too, Peter Burke.
Well, it's 29 points. Houston waits to come on. 29 points the lead. We've had about 10 minutes of play.
Quality replacement, Ross, Houston.
And they're going straight up the race.
Now, of course, they've got to wrestle with the right balance. Tarpey, they just can't afford to let cut loose.
Well, Truella's been
yeah, well, it's a good move. Truella's equally adept.
Forward line, he's been superb up in the forward line. But of course, Murphy's got to do it.
Got to do it, but he's equally adept at back and forward, Truella. So
on comes Chris Houston for Jared O'Neill. And not only will this be the greatest win in Box Hill's history, but it will be in adversity if they can pull it off from here, as the mark almost pulled in by Lyle. Tarpey has his kick charged down by Banfield. Here's the captain. Underneath the weight of Andrew Tarpey.
Well, Sandringham sense that they just must get one on the board to give themselves a chance.
Lyle down to Greg.
Magnificent, Lyle.
His Crow a kick behind the play. Spills it, but it's okay. McGeorge pushed out of bounds. Throw in 75 metres around from Sandringham's goal. They're going with the slight breeze in this quarter, which hasn't really looked to have been a tremendous advantage to either side.
I don't think it's been favouring any end. As a matter of fact, I think the right of screen's they've been kicking more goals.
And Bailey wrestles it clear, but there's Heaney. He's gone.
Oh, that's holding the ball, that.
Rowe lost it. Garrett's got a lift. Tarpey. He was slung, so the handball goes boundary line. Greg
played.
Yeah, great pace over the first 2 or 3 metres to get clear, and his kick finds Livingston.
Crow not letting Livingston past. Lead from Truella. Half back. Looks for Daly. Got a push. Zakowski. Umpire lets it go. Back there, Lambert. Paddled out to Clarkson. Uses his pace. Thumps it back towards Crow and Lyle. It's fisted away from Lyle. Bailey running onto it. Coming the other way was Johnson away from Disney. Little chip to Herman. Loose on centre wing.
Bringing in prominence, Herman.
McMaster makes a strong lead, but it's gone towards Tarpey. Got away from Truella. The kick was good. He's 60 metres from goal. Slight breeze behind him. McMaster makes a lead. But Tarpey's going for the big torpedo. Get back into the square. It won't get there. Gorozides!
Was that a planned move?
Just caught them all out, though. Thinking the ball was going to have a lot more carry. It wasn't a good kick. Dropped short.
And so often it happens, Sam, doesn't it? You know, one thing the coaches say when they kick those flat punts, you've got to be in front.
So George Gorozides going for goal number 3. 2 in the second quarter. And the Zebras trail by 29 points. Good off the boot. Back to 23 points. Number 3 to Gorozides.
Oh, and they needed that, Sandringham. It was getting very testy, Sam, wasn't it? But to get it back, we see Tarpey here. The ball dropping short. Torpedo that doesn't really torp. And Gorozides, he's there to take it. Still plenty in the game.
One of the few mistakes that David Banfield has made. Gorozides with limited opportunities, 3 goals.
18 minutes into the third term. They've got the last 2 goals, Sandringham. Laurie Zarafa. Front position for Wilkinson, but chipping in Sakowski.
A critical contest, that one. Had to be won.
He goes out to Lyle Johnston. Maloney gives him a lead on the wing. Swan and he have had a magnificent duel, and Swan almost wins that one, but good recovery from Maloney. Hoists it high. Tarpey in the middle. Whacks it. He's lifting just like he did in the second semi when his second half won them the game. Conventional drop punt for Gorozides, who's bustled off it well by Banfield. Lyle. Beautiful kick. I think he could play another few seasons yet, Mark Lyle. There's Chuela's kick to Zarappa. Bearing down on him, Johnston. Tremendous tackle. Play on, they've really put the whistles away. Quinn caught high.
Advantage paid.
Advantage paid to Swan. The half back from half forward. Goals! Unbelievable!
That's inspirational, Peter. Gee, this bloke, hasn't he become a player in this final series? I mean, he's been good, but look, he's taken on the best in the finals. He's not them out, but he's become an attacking player as well. He's marking overheads tremendous, and to see him here take the ball, and look at the run. Anthony Allen bearing down, hits it at 50, about 51. And great shepherding there, I would say, by Wilkinson.
Grand finals bring the best. This is where reputations are made.
Back to 29 points. Swan.
There he is again.
God, well, the script was written.
What's amazing, Herman, his opponent, has also been prominent. Maloney, sorry, has also been a valuable player.
And he's banished Steve Amiot to the bench. One of the major Zebra goal kickers. Clarkson went up one-handed. Fed out by Lambert. Clarkson spotted Crow. Every possession under pressure. Got one hiding, Clarkson.
Yeah.
Who are under pressure.
And the Zeb supporters cry about time.
Just not finding their targets, their disposals.
11 free kicks to 22 in favour of the Mustangs. Clarkson looks for Tarpey. 2-on-1. Lyle.
Well, that's 50.
He has done well, Mark Lyle.
Filling up that corridor.
Oh, just tremendous. Just tremendous.
Well, just keep paying the 50. That's all you've got to do.
A little bit of frustration there for the Zebras.
Well, Tarpey Andrew was getting well on top there, and Lyle cleverly dropped back.
Taken 3 very big marks today. And the kick's a beauty to Wilkinson.
They look too good, too fast. Lyle in defence, tremendous. The kicking's great. I think it's a Zebra, a Mustang premiership. And yet there's a quarter and a half to go.
Wilkinson for his 4th. Put it across the face. That one would have really dented Sandringham's confidence if he'd been able to slot it.
Yes, he's been very good, Wilkinson, despite the fact he's only kicked 3 goals, but he's done a power of work being down there. He's given them tremendous contest. He's been responsible for probably 2 or 3 others. But more importantly, because of his leaping and agility, he puts the defence under enormous pressure.
3 goals to each full forward.
That's against Allen.
Yes, blatant. Don't look surprised, Anthony.
Free to Andrew Quinn. He puts it high. Where's Wilkinson? McCrabb. Rowe got one high. Loose ball. Danger. Runs through by McGeorge.
Bad numbers there too, Phil. Midnight streaming on the ball. Lucky McGeorge was there.
I think if you'd been the Zebra coach, Sam, the heart would have been firmly implanted in the mouth.
Listen to those Mustangs fans.
It's a good ploy just to bring him where he's visible to his players, and the supporters will obviously rally to that.
Andrew Quinn's won 6 free kicks.
Livingston has done not a thing wrong all season. Look at the delivery. Oh, magnificent to Wilkinson on the lead.
It's getting better and better, aren't they? Precision-like football.
Oh, they're unstoppable.
Finely tuned.
Ominous, Sam.
Yes, and that as well, Phil.
They kick this, and I don't think they could be beaten. Is it a 6-goal lead? No, 31 points. 3 goals, 2 for Darren Wilkinson.
Livingston been absolutely exceptional. Had a slow start to the series when he was tagged out of the game in the qualifier, but since then...
Gee, that's the forward's dream to get delivering like that.
Don't you love them like that, Peter?
A minute from time on, 3rd quarter. Booming kick.
Oh, that's a free kick to Lyle.
Against Crow. Lambert, didn't think so, Sam. Herman. Through the middle. Gorozides went down, but it was pretty soft. Banfield stands his ground, takes the mark. Lots of players running off Banfield. One's Crothers. Kicks it wide, out in front of Quinn. Mitchelson shows courage, but Quinn, too quick, got there first.
Been terrific, Quinn. Kept Allen honest and not allowed him to run.
Truella's run away from Tarpey. Creates a problem. Gregg's beaten Mitchelson. He might do it again.
Oh, that was very clever by Greg. I know they could have probably done a bit better. Truella compounded the problem by playing on, never had an option. But Greg was under pressure and he definitely knocked the ball on. There's O'Neill. Oh, gee.
Two fallen Warriors, with their team doing it without them, as Hewson pumps it forward to Wilkinson again.
No, it's too good.
This one will go through.
Just too good. I thought Murray would be able to hold him, but he's really just been under a lot of pressure. See, that's a problem with a player of Murray's size, and I should have known better, really. He's not tall enough, really, for Wilkinson. You get caught out against a strong marking player of this kind.
Well, they've got Sikorsky to drop back there on him.
Sikorsky, what's this goal?
Well, I put it on him. If he kicked one or two of those, then it would have been all over. But 3-3, his last 3 shots have been behind.
Probably a deficiency in his game is his conversion, because he does kick an alarmingly amount of behind from set shots.
They're looking desperate, the Zebras, just torping it out of danger, but it's not out of danger.
That's a sign, Peter, that things just aren't panning out. The zones aren't working, so let's hit and hope.
Livingston. What's happened here? There's a free kick to Sandringham in the back pocket.
Against Wilkinson, I think, on Murray.
Crow with it. Waste no time to Johnston, been one of the Zebras' better players. Short to McKenzie. Centre wing. Now in the square. Pumps it long. Tarby, Gorozides. Banfield over the top. Gregg, good. Tahini, efficient use of the ball. Strong tackle was good by Mitchelson. Desperate it was, but it comes back to Heaney. Steadies around onto the right foot. Ground level McKenzie. Deep into the pocket. Tarpey's there. And
shepherded off the ball. Yes, good decision. Heaney shepherded off the ball.
Haven't missed a thing, the umpires.
It's not your fault, Andrew. Yeah, well, he does acknowledge it now. It's frustrating. He did everything right. A terrible, undisciplined play by his teammates.
Heaney. Behind the pack, it's Maloney. Gorozides. Gregg's been brilliant. Maloney's kick off the ground, ricochets in the end to Chris Garrett. In the back against Brett Gregg.
Yep.
And the Zebra supporters reckon they haven't had many too.
No, he's been consistent with that all day long, and that's the right decision.
24-12 is the count.
That's right.
But there's only one reason for that.
Yes, that's exactly right. Put them in under the, getting enough of the ball, getting to it first. Garrett been pretty ordinary today.
Well, on the run, you'd back him in 9 times out of 10. Can he kick a team lifter from a standing start?
3 metres on it. Sandringham, go right out, you force someone in. Keep it there, no closer. Keep it there. I know where it is. There.
Hasn't got the legs. It's marked by Crow. He was third in line, the big fella, and Chris Garrett in a bit of trouble. He's missed.
No, he's got it.
No, he missed it.
Incredible miss. And she's stuck in the net. Nearly went into Sam's windsock. That's all that stopped the $250,000 going off out of the Kekovich bank account.
Phil, did you mark that goal down? Because I went to, and then I stopped.
No, he just pulled it straight away.
There's a 20-20 Zisas.
I mean, before he kicked it.
Oh, well, you would have thought so, but he's a little bit awkward on the kick.
Is this Burke's ankle?
So I'll tell you what, that's assuming the proportions of Pete Hudson's knee, that ankle, isn't it?
He might be preparing him as a bit of insurance to come on in the last term.
To sit in the forward pocket or something? Should they lose another?
Troy Heaney.
Oh, great work.
Lead from Disney. Knocked away by Clarkson.
Disney was very good in that opening term. Has gone out of the game a little bit.
A low-scoring grand final.
She nearly fell off the fence too.
Yes.
Lyle and Tarpey to go at it. Tarpey used the body. Swan. Tarpey runs down the hand pass. Bailey kicks a high one. McMaster's underneath it. Coming is Gorazidis. Garrett at the fall of the ball. Oh, Truella was quick, but straight to Tarpey. Now this is kickable.
Definitely, Roscoe. The distance won't be a problem. Oh, and you wouldn't want him to put it out to you there, mate. Ian Herman calling for the ball just to the left of Tarpey. Not on.
He hasn't been kicking well.
No, he hasn't, Sam. But the drop punt is within range, though.
Oh, it is within his capabilities.
Hasn't kicked a goal today. The Zebras have only kicked 4. Hooked it a bit. 2 behinds to Andrew Tarpey.
Yeah, struggled all day, haven't they, to find the big opening. Been terrific, the Box Hill defence.
Forward line's been slow, Sam.
Yes. Very little movement.
Kick in. It's worked every time from full-back for the Box Hill Mustangs. McCrabb. Over the top came Cohen. Aussie McCrabb gives it straight to Livingston. Swan. Caught well by Johnston, holding the ball.
Yes, well, I thought he was a bit dynamite on that one.
Semi-retarded, wasn't he?
I agree. Johnston getting a lot of the ball to Clarkson in front of Disney. Away he goes. Goes towards McMaster. Crothers right with him. It's a free kick. Paul McMaster started the season in attack, then struggled to hold his place, and then in the latter part moved into defence. But with troubles in the forward zone, he's been forced back into attack. From just outside 50, right on the line, he kicks. He's hooked it too.
Oh, dear.
Well, they've certainly balanced each other out, haven't they, at either end? You know, Box Hill missed 3 or 4 relatively easy ones. And Sandringham likewise.
You were wrong in the paper this morning. Sandringham are slow.
Okay.
This resembles a fallout, a bunker.
The trench of Sam.
He was right about the important thing, though. Box Hill aren't soft. Heaney's kick in. And he was aiming for Lyle, who gives away 50.
Umpire.
And he gets a speaking to. But it's 50, and Gorazidis will kick from 5 metres out.
Well, Mark Lyle's not put a foot wrong, and that's very, very unfortunate for him. It was a whisker in it. Only a whisker.
No, the right decision was paid. The only time he blotted his copybook, you're right, Phil. But I'm sure the big guy would like to have that over again.
He should have grabbed him, basically, instead of using the body.
Gorazidis to be the top goal kicker in the game. He's got 4. They are some sort of chance, the Zebras. We've played 32 minutes in this injury-riddled 3rd quarter. And here's the 50-metre penalty that results in the goal.
Yes, what we see here is that Lyle, had he put the arms around Gorazidis, nothing in it. There's Andrew Tarpey. He's getting a bit excited, Andrew Tarpey.
Yeah, Bruce Cohen really niggling him all the time. And a free going to Box Hill. Taken by Lyle, no one on the mark. He wastes no time. Quick thinking. Underneath it, McCrabb. One-handed he went. Hewson over the ball. Daly there too. Zakaski used his body well. Terrific play for Peter Zakaski. Long at the back is Rowe with the spoil. Mitchelson in front of Greg. So Raffle put his body on the line. It spills out to Maloney. Twisting, turning. Can't get away from Greg, who smothered McCrabb's kick. Falls to Hewson. Aren't the Mustangs desperate? Zakaski caught. It spills out to McCrabb. And McCrabb hooks it back to centre wing, where McKenzie flies, but Rowe punches clear. Loose ball for Zarafa.
And McCrabb won't get there in time.
Oh, what a great desperate contest that was. And Dwayne Rowe, 2 superb punches.
The pressure is just relentless, Sam.
Greg magnificent on the wing. And the back line for Box Hill, incredible. McCrabb, the blind turn into Rowe, but he gets it off to Pat Garrett. Sorry, Pat. It's Pat Lambert. He's kicked us full short of Gorozides. Bounced nicely for him. Clever play. Good umpiring.
Good umpiring here.
And now it's coming back.
No.
The siren's gone.
No, that was a good decision, though. He didn't ride it. He released him as soon as he released the ball. You're getting soft, Philip.
No, he's played a couple like that.
No, he hasn't all day. He's been consistent.
Well, the situation is that Sandringham trail by 4 goals at 3/4 time. In that term, Sandringham kicked 3 goals 3, while Box Hill had their chances to wrap it up, kicked 3 goals 6. But with 18 players, can Box Hill hold on to this lead? Daly, who's had trouble with that eye all match, the contact lens, as Ross pointed out to us before the game. But with 1/4 to go of the 94 VFA season, Box Hill are 4 goals in front of Sandringham, who came into the game as favourites.
Enter the exotic beauty of the coral reef, a living limestone city.
Hundreds of species of coral, thousands of species of fish, tens of thousands of other life forms, all reliant on each other for survival. But after 50 million years of perfection, a biological latecomer has thrown all this submarine magic into jeopardy.
A wonderful Wednesday special, 50 million years under the sea, premieres 8:30 Wednesday, ABC.
Louis the Fly, I'm Louis the Fly.
Happy little Vegemites we may have been, but did these icons reflect our national identity?
Just how relevant these idealised images are to most people's lives today.
It isn't all blue-eyed bronzed Aussies. The face of multicultural Australia is changing. Living in the 90s, 8 o'clock Thursday.
Box Hill, 1/4 away from their first ever premiership. That's disregarding their 2 second division flags. This is the one they want to win. And they are 4 goals in front. They've led all day. They've extended their lead at each break by 3 points. Wilkinson, 3 goals, 3 behinds from him in that quarter. Daly's got 2, Livingston, Swan, Truella, the single goal kickers. For Sandringham, Gorozides, the top goal kicker in the game. Didn't kick a goal in the first quarter, 2 in the second and third. And Maloney has kicked the single goal. What a job John Murphy has done this year with Box Hill. Taken them from 6th to the grand final. His last address to them this year.
Carrying the weight of everybody out there waiting on you. Expectation. You won that quarter. All we got to do again now is just win this quarter of football. Half time I said, are you prepared to pay the price? Some of you weren't prepared to pay the price that quarter. Come on. Just jogged along. When you just got to bust your gut to get through packs. Bust your gut to get in front of blokes. Bust your gut to punch the ball from behind. Delay a shepherd, delay a tackle. 2 minutes, Johnny.
Well, Trevor Barker, reputed to be going to St Kilda as assistant coach next year. After 3 years at Sandringham, how he'd like to finish his reign with the second flag in that period. It'll be one to be savoured for a long time.
Capable of winning this game. Come on. I saw you kick 7, 9, 12 goals in a quarter. Come on. They're down to 18. You've got no one else to bring on. So we must run. I don't care. We go for broke. We run, and we run. But you run sensibly. Give the ball off and move the ball to the forward. I'm going to ask every forward. Chrissy.
Well, they've got to do what Williamstown did in 1990. They came from 36 down at 3/4 time to snatch the premiership away from Springvale. His third quarter highlights is Cohen. Squares the ball. Truella, great leap in the forward line, but he had to be sent into the back half when injury took its toll.
Well, he was just destroying Sandringham at centre-half forward, Peter, and it was a real blow. The loss of O'Neill, that was the kick to Daly. He's been good, Daly. I must say, though, Zakaski in the second part of that quarter started to get moving. But Daly put that goal through.
Contact lenses, Phil.
Yes, well, so we believe, yeah.
I can't believe that. They wouldn't have a spare pair. Or he wouldn't have them in his bag.
Amazing. Well, I don't know, I'm not an expert on those things. There was Wilkinson, Livingston, I should say, back in, and Truella running the wrong way.
My daughter actually admitted to one.
Well, my daughter actually does wear contact lenses. I went in and picked them up for her the other day. They cost an arm and a leg too. And there was Truella putting through that goal. It was just after this that Truella had to be shifted up the other end of the ground to centre-half back. Now, Tarpey looks slow, real problem for them. Over to Maloney, big goal, but they're very, very slow on the forward line, and that plays into the hands of Box Hill, which is very sharp in defence and runs it out. Heaney and O'Neill, of course, off the ground. But that's where I think they've had the most trouble. Here we see Tarpey punting the ball forward, and Gorazidis, yes, well, he's kicked 4 goals. You've got to say that's a reasonable performance, but I would like to see him more mobile, or a more mobile forward line. So he's done his job of kicking the 4, but still been a problem down there for them. Amiet they've had off the ground. I mean, when they've got to go to the point of taking Amiet off, bloke is a little bit zippy. Well, he got problems. There was Quinn over the top, and that man Swan, now fair income, this bloke has become an absolute giant killer in the finals. Not only has he nullified players, he has put the washing right out, and been a really attacking footballer. And this was, well, there you saw it, Lyle, a 50-metre penalty, and just what the Zebras needed to get back into action. 4 goals down. I doubt that they can win it. Trevor Barker reckons they can. He's got to say that. He's the coach. He's seen them kick goals, but can they kick goals today? I don't know. I don't think so in the last quarter. I think they can win it. As Box Hill ahead, kicks and handballs. Been a great performance by the
Mustangs. Actually, Sandy got the nod in the handballs, but the hit-out's going decisively Box Hill's way. Ross Booth.
Andrew Tarpey sniffing smelling salts at 3/4 time, and also asked by his coach not to let Mark Torello run off him, but I've broken the seal at Sandringham. Shane Foley, a badly bruised shoulder, including the deltoid muscle, but may be able to come back.
You're a genius, Roscoe.
Who will show the genius in the last quarter and take the flag? Box Hill start with a 4-goal advantage.
That's what the record books are all written about, Peter.
The ball bounces well for Lyle Johnston. Great spoil there from Crothers. Handball from Johnston. Bounced back to Cohen, who's been a stout defender all year, but his quick kick to Darren Mitchelson. Lowered his colours today. But if he could slot this one, they're a big show, and cutting off there is Cohen. I said what a job he'd done this year. He's been brilliant. Allen favoured here from behind. Plucks it. The captain. Good mark from Mackenzie.
He's been good, Allen. Yes. He's been close to their best player.
The squaring kick. George Gorazidis knocked it down. McMaster. Johnston. Gorazidis. Goal.
Home.
His 5th. They're within 3 goals, the Zebras.
Well, it's going to test the resolve of Mettler Box Hill now. Just what they didn't want, concede a goal in the opening minute. And exactly what Sandringham were looking, that would really give them a lift in confidence.
Oh,
and more importantly, the fact that they have done it before. You would look at, they're trailing by 4, they've only kicked 5 for the entire game. And really, there was little to suggest that they could kick another 4 or 5 in a quarter in the overall text of things, Phil, but that was the ideal start that Barker was looking for.
What a low-scoring grand final, but plenty of excitement. 6 goals to 9. Mitchelson. Back goes Tarpey, and he got pushed.
To Tarpey, and, well, will he pull out one of those monster kicks? And he's just the sort of bloke to do it, too, from 50 metres. Don't be surprised if he puts this one right through.
Kicking to the Sharon stand end. Into a very slight breeze. Hardly anything at all.
Oh, he's a big kick. I know Sam's right. He hasn't been kicking well today, but at some point, Sam, he's going to get onto one. Drop punt.
Certainly been a focus for them up there. They would have been struggling without him up forward.
Torella's back off the mark. Comes in now. Tarpey gives it everything he's got, and it's got the distance. 2 goals down are the Zebras.
Well, the expression tells the story there on the face. You can just sense them lifting now. It's a real belief that they're into this contest. And look at the... Tells the story, doesn't it, Tappy?
Look at the eyes.
Oh, the eyes are rolling.
Oh, he wants it bad. A year in Tasmania, went off in the 92 Premiership. He's really looking forward to this one. The grand final, that is.
The closest they've been since the first quarter. Crow's tap. Johnston has been good since half-time. Disney. It comes off him to Maloney. Brett Bailey. Kicked it into a teammate. That's McKenzie. Copped it in the face. But it's 2-on-1 here. Quinn beats them. Wonderful play from Andrew Quinn, and it wasn't out.
Yeah, that was terrible, yes.
Oh, gee, Sandringham had an opportunity when they went forward, though, didn't they?
John Summers won't talk to you after the game, Peter.
He doesn't make a mistake, John Summers.
Well, he did on that occasion.
And Chris Garrett, just before the ball was bounced, was receiving attention. So Amiot must be back on, unless it's Foley, of course. Quinn was very good and quick. Back to Lambert. Daly, Brett Rowe. Sits for Daly, caught by Zakaski. Out to Anthony Allen. Down he goes, and over the line goes the ball. 4 minutes into the final term.
Well, this one they've just got to hold tight in the next 5-10 minutes. Here's a test.
And Foley it is back on the ground, because there's Amiot.
Well, they had him looking at the scoreboard earlier, Garrett, at the three-quarter break to see if he could read it. Concussion problem, I suspect.
Mark Evans bends it. Yes! Oh. He's done it!
Oh, what a goal! Oh, what a goal!
Well,
it's like an optical illusion, that, Sam, wasn't it? The way it spun.
Well, I thought I was going through from behind, because we're directly behind the flight of that ball. And I could sense for a fleeting moment at the end, I think it's going to curve inside the goalpost, and it did. And really, that's an important one for Box Hill, this whole firm, because they were...
Well, it's very ordinary play there by Allen. He should have laid the tackle.
Yes, he should have tackled. Good point.
Good first kick from Mark Evans. Back to 3 goals. The game alive. Bailey found Clarkson. So Raffle did well to get a hand on it. Stopped Clarkson. In there is Dwayne Rowe.
Oh, is it physical? And the pressure is just supreme.
Some tired boys out there.
Wonderful game of VFA football. Let's hope there are many more grand finals of this kind, because under-18s don't play footy quite like this.
Lyle wins it against Crow. Been supreme. And Anthony Allen kicks inside 50. Swan showed courage. Kicks it wide. Heads for the boundary, does David Swan. Right into that dugout where Peter Burke and Jared O'Neill are sitting.
George Gorozides, an extra spring in his legs, 4 goals.
I'm continually impressed by the way the Box Hill backs help each other out. There was a terrific shepherd there to allow Swan to get his kick away, and now Livingston gains another 20 metres.
Yes, play with a great deal of cohesion, know exactly where each other is. They backed each other in. Tim Livingston on screen, been terrific all day.
18 possessions to Livingston.
Lyle wins it again. Tarpey had no one to give it to. Knock on from Bailey. Cohen. Now Foley. Caught by Heaney. Holding the ball.
Gee,
that's tough.
That is tough stuff,
Ross.
He got away with the ball, looked up at goal and was claimed. Tarpey can't get back onto it. He and Greg have 50-50 there, and Tarpey...
Oh, he's given everything of himself, yes, Andrew Tarpey. He's led from the front.
The John Clarkson, the runner, was yelling to the players at 3/4 time, the Sandringham runner, you've got the fitness, you can run over them. So they remains to be seen whether they can. They're looking a bit better. Out to Bailey, centering kick, out in front of Gorozides. Foley there too. Shane Foley, around, can he go? Oh, good smother. That was by Crothers. Brilliant play.
That's a game-winning smother.
He clears from half-back. At the back is Clarkson on Disney. Away from Disney. The hand pass. Johnston's been good. Back to McCrabb. Steadies. Looks upfield for Herman. Finds him at half-forward. Tarpey calling for it long in the pocket. May not quite get there. McMaster flies. Truella punching at the back. And Banfield, will he take it over? Deliberate?
Had to be. Had to be.
Gee, when you look back, that smother by Crothers.
One of the great smothers of our time.
That will end up part of footballing folklore, or finals folklore, I should say.
Lyle, been magnificent.
Oh.
Quick cheer out of Con Pavlo from Frankston, who's been in hospital with a serious illness, but at home now. Con, a life member of the VFA, coach, president, the lot down at Frankston. Hope you're enjoying the grand final. And
good chance to pay tribute to one of our cameramen, Ian Margosi. His last assignment today after 35 years. He's been supreme behind the lens. Well done, Ian, from everybody at the ABC. Plenty of excitement for him to bring to us, though, before this is finished. Mitchelson, Anthony Allen, can the skipper do it? He's free! He's kicked it! What a goal! Unbelievable! What a goal! They're within two, the Zebras. The Ant leading from the front.
Well, gee, Peter, you know, you go back VFA Grand Finals. We've been able to turn them on in the VFA. Some of the most riveting Grand Finals. And we've got another one here today at Victoria Park at a really critical time in the VFA's history. And Anthony Allen, a captain of the side, one of the great VFA players, representative player. What a goal to lift his team. Stirring football.
Cohen out of the square. Leading was Brett Rowe, got a cruel bounce. McGeorge is in front of Evans, paddles it forward. Disney, Lambert. Disney feeds out the hand pass. Clarkson's had a good second half. Well caught by Livingston, he's legged.
Been getting better too, you're right, Roscoe. Clarkson, he's really lifted.
Livingston
really lifted.
Believe the free kick, but it was there. Clarkson runs. Kicks around the corner for Tarpey. One hand went up. Good play, I think it was by Cohen to Dwayne Rowe. Wide to Disney, with him Lambert. Still in. Raffle, oh, beautiful pick-up from Lambert to Johnston. I've liked Johnston's game. Hand passes to Crow, left behind. Oh, Brett Rowe got one high. Both players clashed heads.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Well, that one's a dicey, got to be a dicey free kick. That
I think he was out to it. He just laid his arms around him and he hasn't got up. Oh, Sikorsky, he had to be sure there.
Both players still down.
Mitchelson against Greg. Greg has shown him a clean pair of heels all day. Sikorsky again arrives in time.
Oh, and Box Hill, they will not lie down.
My word, hallmark of a very good side, and Crow is out to it, I think.
What drama, though. Like, Crow, one player, they just can't afford to have off the ground.
Now, Tarpey doesn't know what to do, whether to ruck or...
He's got to go in the ruck.
Here's Sikorsky again, throws the dummy. Quinn got a hand to it. Allen has it taken off him by teammate Brett Bailey's handball out. Wonderful shepherd here for Rowe, but the boundary line too close to Greg.
Oh, you can cut the atmosphere with a knife here.
Crow's up, he's running around in the centre square.
Tarpey's immediately read it right.
And Crow's going to centre half forward. Tarpey in the ruck. Down to Bailey. Twists, gives it to Mitchelson, to Johnston. Johnston kicks to Maloney. He waits, little chip kick, a bit fancy. Didn't find the man, McMaster. Back it comes to centre wing. Mitchelson went in hard. Maloney, Zarafa over the ball. It's come out. Herman, tackled by Rowe. Loose one. Cohen, that's holding the ball. Surely.
Oh, the umpires.
Decision he could have paid.
Yes, you're right, Sam. I tell you what, it's testy for the umpires too, isn't
well,
it?
Box Hill, Zarafa has got to lift at this stage now. Very critical period.
Lyle straight down to him. He's caught by Herman. Another bounce.
Prior opportunity, umpire. Was it there?
No.
No. If it wasn't on the previous occasion, then it certainly wasn't then. I thought Cohen tried to break the pack on the previous
You're getting emotional, Peter.
Well, a lot of close game, Sam.
Well,
and this is turning into it.
Oh, it's been a great game from the start. The pressure.
McMaster's kick ricochets back to Zarafa. Livingston. The open spaces on the outer wing. Who's going to fill them up first? Brett Rowe. He's got Disney there in support. Tackle is a good one. Advantage played. Clarkson pops it up for Gora. Swooping in Foley. Great tackle. And Banfield then and knock it over the boundary.
I tell you what, if you wanted your house defended, Sam, you'd pull these Box Hill blokes into it, wouldn't you? Backfield and the like.
Because they're so well drilled, the opposition's move into the forward line is really just haphazard. They've just got to kick it up there and hope, Sandringham.
You'd want them in your neighbourhood watch program, I know that.
And there's Lyle working well to hold the ball away from his opposition. You see Foley getting up, holding his shoulder. There's some really tired and injured footballers out there.
There'll be some ice packs used tonight.
29 hit-outs to Mark Lyle. From our statistician, Mark Slocum, Herb and Edna Field at your 50th, and Paul, our usual statistician. Hope you're enjoying it. Free kick to Disney against Clarkson.
Yeah, Clarkson got on top of him after a brilliant first quarter by Disney. Now he needs to respond. He's the other guy I'm referring to. Zarafa and he.
Zarafa takes the hand pass, kicks towards Daly and Zakaski. And I must say, Zakaski's done a pretty good job on Robin Daly.
Yeah, he's only got away from him 2 or 3 times, Ross.
Yes, he's a reliable player, isn't he? Zakaski struggled because of the lack of match play, I think, but he's worked himself into the game.
Played one game before this, and that was in the second semi-final prior to since being injured in round 13. Cohen caught by Herman.
Ooh. And Tarpey there taking, yes, Herman. I know what he's saying.
So he felt he should have got one a bit earlier, I think.
That's right, when Cohen tried to break the pack. Now McMaster rucking against Lyle. Swan.
Oh, that's...
Could never get the handball away. Cohen is caught. Rowe. Kenzie's kick out. Heaney tapped the ball down well to Cohen. That's a free kick against Allen. Yes. No, it's not. It's Herman who's just got to settle himself down as he knocks Zarafa to the ground. We've played 14 and a half minutes. 12-point leaders are Box Hill. In this quarter, Sandringham have kicked 3 goals straight. Box Hill have kicked 1 goal 3.
Banfield on over top, Mitchelson.
What a mark. Gee, they have match-winning marks, those. He took the punt.
Yeah,
probably should have punched, but...
Mitchelson heads inside 50. Crow, hands on it. Crothers heads for the line.
Oh, some tired boys. Can they hold on now?
Well, I think unless Sandringham gets the next goal, the Box Hill boys will hold on.
Only 15 minutes in. Greg off to Heaney. Hands let him down for one of the few times this year. That was brave from Truella. Squirts out to Bailey. The man he spotted is Foley. No 50 this time.
Oh, yes.
Yes, there is.
Oh, I don't know about that, umpire. I don't know about that.
Isn't it amazing? They're going to block their copybook and create...
Well, Sam, he's closer than us, I suppose. There was an infringement.
The free kick should have been played previous to the Box Hill play.
A goal the difference.
Yes.
We've played 16 minutes in the last quarter. Well, Trevor Barker said, I've seen you kick 5, 7, 12 goals in a term. So far, his Zebras have given him 4 to 1.
Yes, they haven't let him down. A lot more spirited performance this last term. And look at the terrace of the Zebra supporters who have been quiet. Have been certainly given something to applaud in this last term.
Sandringham have never led. They're now within 6 points. We've ticked just over 16 minutes. Livingston, McKenzie, Strength, Clarkson and Johnston through the centre square. McMaster's a long kick from 50. Bang he goes, and he's just wide.
One straight kick will give it to him. 17 minutes have almost elapsed in this term.
Good call, Ross, too, on there. You called it right. He is a big, long kick. Just didn't steady quite enough.
Now the pressure right on Heaney.
Yes.
He's been perfect in this position all season. He goes to Lyle. Tarpey's fist. Crothers. Did well. Zarafa. McGeorge well caught by Evans. Livingston. Can they get a goal, Box Hill? The whistle's gone. Downfield it'll go.
Yes, Livingston dealt with after he disposed of the ball. They must score here.
Darren Wilkinson to take some air out of the Sandringham bubble. He can't kick a goal.
I think he might take his chance and play on it around Murray here.
Front of the pack, it's Sandringham.
Well, that's the place to be.
Pat Lambert. Pressure just released a little bit for the first time in the last quarter. His kick goes to Tarpey. Livingston's fist. Rose claimed by McKenzie. Raffle legged.
Should have been.
Bailey going for the boundary line. Still in. Zarafa.
Tired.
Very tired. You see his legs just fail on him there.
Yes, and he was pointing to his feet and dead right. Laurie, he should have been in receipt of a kick then.
Lyle, he has rucked on his own all season. The 32-year-old's handball goes to Andrew Tarpey. Allen in close quarters. There was no room to move.
Big effort by the big bloke there.
Oh, they're digging deep for something extra now. They've exhausted their normal supply.
Rowe has it taken away. With desperation, it's Zarafa and Evans. Equal desperation from David McGeorge, who's been a good player.
Yes.
Uncertainty on all those faces, no matter what team they barrack for.
We may well be back here next week, Peter.
Yes, there is no extra time in the grand final. Bailey, with strength, gets it away to Lyle Johnston, whose second half has been wonderful. Mitchelson running forward of him. His kick instead to Foley. Again, Mitchelson is ignored. Gorozides behind Banfield, and the captain slowing it right down.
Steadies the ship at a crucial stage.
5 marks for David Banfield.
20 minutes in, 4 goals to Sandringham, 1 to Box Hill this quarter. Caught his Heaney, got his hand pass out. Houston can't get away. McKenzie, he slips. Greg. McCrabb. Tarpey, looking tired, slips. Box Hill with numbers. One of them's Houston, a bad tackle from Allen. Advantage is paid, wasn't much advantage. McCrabb. Up to half forward. Maloney keeps it all in front.
What a contest. I'm speechless. I really am. Been fantastic.
Throws off to
the crowd appreciating every minute of it.
Justin Crowe off, and there's Maloney. 5 points the difference. Sandringham trail. Lyle's been great. Kicks to centre wing. Knock forward. Quinn into the back of McKenzie. A lucky free to Sandringham.
Oh, no, don't mar your performances now.
But tired players, Sam, just getting a little careless.
The irate supporters.
The turtleneck of the season, that lady's wearing. Oh, Bailey handballing to himself really there. Oh, tackle Evans on McGeorge. Nowhere for Bailey to go this time.
Why did they do that? They are so tired, some of these players. It's been a crackerjack pace.
21 minutes almost in the final.
Box Hill have played every game in the final series. This is their 4th. Sandringham playing their 2nd. Tarpey finds something in his legs to get up to knock it to Mitchelson. Zarafa's double fister goes to Rowe. Sikaski leaves it for teammate Murray. He held out Daly brilliant there, Sikaski, who's beaten him since half-time. Tarpey. Kick it up there and hope. No leads at all coming for him. Foley the flyer. And it is kept in. Harms like no by Herman.
22 minutes in.
This is an epic game.
Sandy under Trevor Barker going for 2 out of 3. Box Hill have never won a first division flag. That's in Sandringham's forward line. Up gets Andrew Quinn.
He was hit hard by Allen then.
And a bit of blood from his nose. He might have to be sent off. But Box Hill haven't got any replacements because Burke and O'Neill are injured. And he's going off. Umpire Caulfield has spotted it. So they're going to be down to 17. Is the blood flowing? Asks Jeff Caulfield. Yeah, off you go. No, he's okay. Well, that's interesting. A trainer with a quick towel. Maloney, inside 50. In the way was Cohen. No way could get rid of that. Rowe throws it onto his foot. Mitchelson. Mackenzie out of nowhere, into the square, Gorozides. First touch, loose ball. Oh, grabbed by Livingston. Great possession for the centre man. Rowe, back goes Lambert. Bouncing ball. Will it sit for him? It does. Pat Lambert on his preferred foot, chips it short. Amiot. I didn't see him come on, but he's a renowned goal kicker, averaging 5 for the year.
Too far out. Yes.
But, Sammy, it has been one of those games you wouldn't be sure.
There's a bit of carry up to that end.
Oh, no, he won't kick the goal, but...
Only 6 possessions to Amiot. Gives it all he's got. It's not a bad kick. It's a beauty. It's a goal. And Sandringham are in front by a point.
Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. And I think God is trying to tell the administrators of football something about the VFA, Sammy. Well, isn't this one of the best games you've seen?
Well, we predicted it was going to be one of the great games. Had all the earmarks of it, and they haven't let us down.
Astounding performance.
Sandringham take the lead for the first time in the game at the 23.5-minute mark of the last quarter.
What a performance. Just sheer drama.
5 goals to 1 to Sandy in the quarter.
Lyle wins it. A minute away from time on. The game there to be won by either side.
Jeff Caulfield with a bounce. Tarpey, won by Lyle. Disney tries to knock it forward. Cowan, chased by Maloney, who got him. Maloney away from Evans. Was he held? He still braced clear of the tackle. Centre wing. The players throwing themselves in. It's big Adrian Mackenzie. Passes up to Amiot. He kicked the last one from further out. John Clarkson, the runner, saying steady at the 24.5-minute mark. Could this be a fairy tale end for Steve Amiot?
Well, he's Rip Van Winkle in this game, that's for sure.
Covered by David Swan, benched, back on, only a few minutes ago. Sandringham lead by a point. Amiot heads for goal. It's not a bad hoof, but he's wide to the left. 2 points in it.
Well, there won't be much time on. This might well be Box Hill's last opportunity. They're going to have to set it up from this behind.
Oh, look at Truella free in the Box Hill forward line. No one spotted him. Oh, big trouble.
Got to get up there, Phil.
Lyle with the backhander. It wouldn't bounce for Rowe. Mackenzie caught by Swan. Rowe again. 2-on-1 here, and Lambert is brilliant. Disney's tap. Johnston caught when he didn't have it.
Oh, gee, that was a line ball decision. I'll let that go.
Bailey done a good job since he's come on from interchange. Foley! Heaney. No room for Raffle. Box Hill, one effort. Have they got it in them? The next score, if it's Sandringham's, will seal it. Tries to break through there, Herman.
Oh, lucky.
Now it's Tim Livingston, not happy.
There's the clock. We've had 6 goals in the quarter. So what do you reckon, about 28 minutes?
Roundabout Roscoe.
In ruckers, McMaster and Lyle. Neither won it. Dwayne Rowe, and up and under the centre wing. Through the hands of McGeorge. Can't get it, was Truella. Tarpey appealing for the free kick. And even now he can raise a smile to umpire Jeff Caulfield. Nearly 27 minutes gone. 2 points to the Zebras in the 94 premiership race. Tarpey goes with Lyle, takes it out of the air, off the ground. That was a telling possession to half forward.
Sure was. It sure was, Ross.
Box Hill, so gallant.
Still a chance, Peter.
They've got to show more than gallantry. Something's got to run their way. The bounce of the ball's got to go their way. They need a bit of luck. But Maloney for Sandringham. Foley pushed down by Heaney.
Yes, lucky, but it was there.
Gorazidi spoilt by Banfield, with valuable seconds ticking away from Box Hill's season. Sandringham on the verge of the premiership that looked unlikely for, well, about 5/6 of this game. Zarafa couldn't get away, tackled by McMaster.
Oh, it's still tense, Peter. Game's going to be won in the last 3 seconds of a game.
28
second of a game.
And a quarter minute's gone. McMaster wins the tap, an important one.
Yeah, good bottling up tactics here by Sandringham. Maloney, who's been terrific. Foley's given them a lift, aiming it. And of course, I believe Andrew Tarpey's been sensational.
Here's Maloney. It's a behind.
Oh, that helps Box Hill.
Exactly, Philip. They've got an opportunity to run it now.
Well, they've got possession. That's what you want. You want possession.
A goal to win the game for Box Hill. It just about has to go from one end to the other without being touched by a Sandringham player. There's the first part of the assignment. No, Lyle couldn't hold it. Amiot, hands off to Herman. Sandy a home.
Oh, remarkable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Remarkable turn of events. They kept persisting and finally they cracked, and really one feels sorry for Box Hill, but by the same token you've got to admire the Zebra machine. All year they've been the benchmark of the competition.
But we mustn't forget, Sam, the Mustangs without those key players.
Yes,
Jared Malloy off the ground.
Yeah, it's been full of merit, but they'll be disconsolate and very, very sad and sorry with the events here, but it'll be no shame, I guess, for the colours. Yes.
Sandringham, from 4 goals down at three-quarter time, win the 1994 VFA Premiership with a last quarter that will live in the annals of club history. Their 5th flag, 6 goals to 1 in the last term, and the Zebras have done it. Nine points, the final margin. And they won 11 games in a row to claim the premiership. And there'll be nothing that you can say to these players to console them. Jared O'Neill, cruelly cut down by injury, as was Peter Burke. There's disbelief on some of these faces, delight on others. If this was the last game of VFA football, then it was a fitting last game.
And is the coach in there, Peter? I don't think I've spotted Trevor Barker yet.
He'll be in amid these euphoric scenes, Philip, and you've experienced those?
Well, it's something special.
That's what he's all about, isn't it?
It is just something special, Sam. And you come back and look at these poor
Well, we've been on
Box
receipt
Hill
of that side, so we can understand both sides of the fence. But it is terribly disappointing for Box Hill because they've been gallant in defeat. I guess they're going to be told that, but it's, as Peter said, it's not going to console them a great deal. But this side's to be admired. They worked terribly hard all year, as I said. Being the benchmark, I thought their preparation might tell in the end, and I guess if they had remained intact, Box Hill, the loss of O'Neill was a cruel one. The loss of Burke was terribly cruel. But then again, I guess that's what football's all about. You've got to have a bit of luck running your way over a season spanning some 30-odd weeks. You've got to have your troops intact, but unfortunately, fate dealt a cruel blow to Box Hill in its greatest moment of need. And Sandringham seized on the opportunity, and
that man Anthony Allen we just saw in screen, what a performance.
Oh, Andrew Tarpey's performance.
Yes.
Look, I'm a big rap for that guy. I thought he stood tall when things were crumbling around him. He went into the ruck temporarily when Crowe was hurt. At half forward, he was the only one that gave him any semblance.
And here he is, the coach, Trevor Barker, 2 premierships in 3 years. Or is it? No, it's not. The haircut looks the same. He's become a photographer.
I haven't spotted
Where
him
is he?
yet. He must. Is he there? Has he collapsed somewhere? En route to the huddle. Still haven't spotted him.
I tell you what, Mackenzie gave him a lift too when he came on. He didn't do much.
Bit of pace, Sam. A little bit of nip.
And strength.
Sikorsky, an inspired comeback, wasn't it?
Well, he put Daly out of business, yeah.
And Ross Booth has got 4 of them.
We've got Paul McMaster, Chris Garrett, Shane come back, David George. Fantastic, David, on the back line.
Unbelievable feeling.
You never thought you'd come back. I suppose you did, though. Trevor saying at three-quarter time, you've got the legs, you've got the fitness, and it proved that way.
Yeah, well, I thought we had the legs, but geez.
Steve Lundy pulled back into attack after having with those injuries, having to cover there.
Yeah. Oh, well, we had to turn around, we had to do something, and we always thought we could get there. Boys weren't sure, we always thought we had it, we always thought we could win, and we got there in the end. It was
Here's
great.
Ian Herman. Ian Herman, well done. You're getting a bit irate with the umpires here. A couple of good tackles, and they didn't go your way.
Oh, I felt I went for the ball a couple of times and got around the head a couple of times. That's the way it is. The umpire said,
Fantastic feeling.
Yeah, it's very good. It's very good. Thanks very much.
A little more in control of his emotions there than he was earlier, but there is Trevor Barker.
Well, boy.
This one I think will probably feel better than the first because it was never theirs, was it?
No.
No, it wasn't, Peter.
Never ever was, and Vauxhall could well think it was one that got away.
We must.
They stole it.
Those loss of players, though, Jared O'Neill and Burke, really that hurt them.
And look at that right cheek of Justin Crowe. Ross Booth again.
Shane Foley. How's the, well done, congratulations. What was the name? Bradley bruise delta, you can see it swollen there.
Yeah, I've got a bruise there.
Courageous effort to come back.
Oh, mate, it's great. That's a great feeling. It's fantastic.
Andrew Tarpey, you look exhausted. How do you feel?
I can't talk, Ross.
You can't talk. Okay, we'll let him go. Steve Amiot.
Sure.
Steve, how's it feeling lining up for that goal?
Oh, nerve-wracking. But I just came off really well, so I was happy. I had a chance right at the end to do it again, but...
you kicked it wide.
Yeah,
it was a long kick.
We went pretty close, but it was good to get that handball off and Hermie kicked that great.
Okay, back to you, Peter.
And now the presentation of the Norm Goss medal.
Player. And on behalf of VicSafe, the Victorian Government and Victoria Police Anti-Crime Strategy, the VicSafe mug. I'm sure you can find something good to do with that tonight. Congratulations.
Thanks very much.
And now for the presentation of the individual renowned silverware replica premiership cups, I please call on Mr. Tony Hennebury, President of the VFA, to present the awards. Number 1, Nick Murray. Go there. Well done, Nick. Thanks, Billy. Number 2, Brett Bailey. Number 4, Shane the Axel Foley. Number 7, Andrew Tarpey.
Well done.
Number 9, Ian Herman. Number 11, George Gorazidis. Number 12, David McGeorge. Number 13, Austin McCrabb. Number 14, Lyle Johnson. Number 15, Paul McMaster. Number 16, Peter Sikorsky. Number 19, Steve Maloney. Number 20, Justin Clarkson.
Well done, Jess.
Number 23, Paddy Lambert. Number 24, Chris Garrett. Number 25, a big one, Justin Crowe. Number 28, Adrian McKenzie. The vice-captain of the Sandringham Football Club, Darren Mitchelson, number 42. Number 48, Steve Amiot. The captain of the Sandringham Football Club, number 8, Anthony Allen. The coach of the Zebras for the second premiership in 3 years, Trevor Barker. Please welcome to the dais, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ross Smith, Chairman of the Government Police Community, to present the 1994 VicSafe Cup to Trevor Barker and Anthony Allen.
Thank you very much. This is a great honour today to be representing the Premier and the Minister for Police at this magnificent game, because what we've seen this afternoon is an exciting end to what has been a great season. To Anthony Allen and to Trevor Barker, thank you for your participation, because you have been part of the Victorian Government's campaign this year to try to bring the message across, the community campaign against crime. Ladies and gentlemen, we need all your support, but in the meantime, let me present the cup, because this is their great moment.
For the second time, Anthony Allen and Trevor Barker linked by the VicSafe Cup, and they didn't take the lead until well into the last quarter, when Steve Amiot kicked a 50-metre plus goal. But I think Anthony Allen set the ball rolling in the last quarter with an unbelievable goal from the boundary line after he'd broken 2 tackles and slotted it, and the momentum just built and built and built. Box Hill stoutly tried to hold them out, but it just broke down eventually, and Sandringham have won 11 on a row to take the flag.
Yes, and I really do feel for Box Hill, because the one thing to lose a game, you know, that you've had, but there's no doubt the loss of Jared O'Neill was absolutely critical to them. I mean, Peter Burke went off, but you lose the centre half back and you're in big trouble. It was a remarkable game. What can you say?
I'm exhausted, truly I am.
Look, we've got a big viewing audience today, and the VFA has received a lot of criticism, and I don't get too political about it, but you who watched it, I think I'm going to have to say to your mates who didn't watch it, what a magnificent exhibition of community football.
It was everything. It was everything we come to expect. I came here, honestly, expecting one of the great games of VFA football, and I think neither side let us down. We were in receipt of one of the real, truly great games, and it's a shame that someone has to lose. You can't help but feel for Box Hill, because really they've based their resurgence on all the vital ingredients of football: honesty, compassion, dignity, and they exude all the real righteous you know, things
How did they lose
critical. Well, they never lost it, really. It was a matter of attrition.
It was taken away from them. It'll be a shame if they don't get a chance next year to go one better. Maybe this competition won't be called the VFA. If it isn't to be, then this indeed was a fitting end to 117 years of history, with Sandringham coming from 7th to the premiership against Box Hill, who finished 6th last year, and Gallant in defeat. But all the plaudits in the end go to the Sandringham Football Club under Trevor Barker, who has set to end his association with Sandringham and the VFA. But to all the football clubs in the association, thank you on behalf of the ABC for your assistance and cooperation with ABC Sport this year, and no matter what happens next year, it's been great to work with you all. And on behalf of the ABC VFA footy team, goodbye for season 1994.
That's what it's all about. 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 That's what footy's